Welcome to episode 88 of Central Intelligence Cinema. Today, Jason and I, in honor of the late, great Robert Redford, will be reviewing 1992's spy comedy, Sneakers. And without further ado, take it away, Pierce.
Beg your pardon, forgot to knock.
Welcome to the CIC, initiating security clearance.
My name is Napoleon Solo. Bond. James Bond.
Natasha Romanoff.
Ethan Hunt.
Felix Leiter.
Elsa Faust. Identity confirmed.
Now, pay attention, 007.
Welcome to Central Intelligence Cinema, a podcast dedicated to spy movies and secret agent pop culture.
Your mission, should you decide to accept it.
Do you expect me to talk?
I'm in the middle of an interrogation. This moron is giving me everything.
Yeah, baby!
Special agent, you're not having a very special day, are you?
But remember, nothing ever goes according to plan.
Paul, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British hand up, sir. The state will self-destruct in 5 seconds.
Recording from an undisclosed location that may or may not be a play toy factory place? It's the Central Intelligence Cinema Podcast. I'm Jason Greenberg, and with me, as always, Ben Esslinger.
Thank you, Jason. And welcome back to the CIC, the spy movie podcast that likes its pepperoni pizza shaken, not stirred. God, that's a terrible line from this movie that we're about to review. I had to say it, though. Oh, boy. Way to kick off the episode on a bad note, Ben.
I have to say, anyway, there's a number of bad notes about this particular film.
Yeah. Well, welcome back to the CIC. We are finally back on the road here. Not on that road, just a road.
We're done with that road. That road is done.
We're done with that road probably for a while.
If there are more stops on that road, I would have to question Tom Cruise's sanity even more than I do on a normal basis.
Right. But yeah, today's we have kind of I guess it's kind of a listener request, but we also just both sort of felt it was necessary to do this review regardless. Not too long ago, we lost Robert Redford, and several of the Tens reached out asking if we were going to do some sort of tribute or some sort of episode dedicated to the titan of film, really. And so we are here to do that. Although in retrospect, I wish we would have picked a better movie. But,
well, we were weighing this one and 3 Days to Condor, which has literally been on our list since episode 1.
Right.
But I had never seen Sneakers before, and I'd always heard it was really great. And those people that told me it was really great are no longer my friends. But I felt it would be better to at least for me to review a movie I'd never watched than one that Ben hadn't watched in a reasonable frame of time.
Yes. Because
all I would do is gush over 3 Days of Condor. That nobody wants to hear that.
Well, I don't know. We haven't had a gush fest in a while. We're always
That's true.
we're always hitting up these movies that are a little bit sus.
Not a lie. Not a lie.
But yes, we are covering Sneakers. So we'll see how that goes. Should we get into it, buddy?
Absolutely.
They break and enter.
How are we doing?
Cars in position on the fire escape, mothers in the cable vault.
Preparing to sever master circuit.
But they're not thieves.
We're getting too old for this.
They know your secrets. But they're not spies.
It's got to be there somewhere.
So people hire you to break into their places to make sure no one can break into their places?
It's a living.
Not a very good one.
Now they've got a new client.
National Security Agency.
I don't work for the government.
Relax, Marty. It's just everybody on your team has had some sort of problem in their past.
They may not want the job.
Liz, I need your help.
I will not be dragged back into your world.
But they don't have a choice.
It's all about the information.
So it's a code breaker?
No, it's the code breaker.
Do you have the item?
Now give me the box, Marty!
Okay, Sneakers, released in 1992, directed by Phil Alden Robinson, who did Field of Dreams, The Sum of All Fears. Robinson was initially drawn into the film because he wanted to work with Redford, and Redford, quite frankly, was the draw for the majority of the people working on the film. Robinson was a screenwriter on All of Me and Fletch, as well as like 60-odd episodes of The Good Fight, so, you know, he's got a pretty good pedigree. It's just maybe the source material failed him a little bit. Lawrence Lasker was producer who'd worked on War Games and Awakenings. So yeah, a good team. And I think it was just one of those things where everybody wanted to work with Redford because it's Robert Redford. I mean, and I should sort of get into that because we didn't really say it too much before we got into like this movie in particular. It is kind of astounding how much Robert Redford has contributed to the film industry and community as a whole.
Oh, yeah.
He literally started an entire film festival that has brought up indie film like for 30 years now or probably longer. I don't remember exactly when Sundance started, but I mean, between that and just all of his amazing roles, I mean.
And his directing.
Yeah, and directing. I mean, he's done it all. So, yeah. Who wouldn't want to work with Robert Redford, even if it is on a movie that, quite frankly, feels like if Robert Redford has a straight-to-DVD movie, this is it.
This movie felt like it was struggling very hard to claw its way into 1992 from 1986.
Very much so. It almost has it almost kind of reminds me of, occasionally it feels like a Brian De Palma film. In a weird, as far as the way that things are lit, the way that things are shot, like there's a little bit of, but like De Palma light.
Yeah, well, I think it's because there's a lot of deliberately set piece shots in this movie. And that's really all De Palma is about, is deliberately set piece shots. And so the movie doesn't flow like a De Palma movie.
No.
But there's just some scenes like when you're looking at Whistler's, the scene with the glasses where it's reflecting the screen and both lenses on the sunglasses. Right. It's very like, okay. Yeah. We had a thought in mind for what this shot was going to look like, and we brought it to full realization.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a moment when Redford is talking to the Russian guy by the pool, and the Russian guy takes a step down so that his face is fully in the shadow and you can't see it. And he says, "You have to trust me." It's like,
right.
That wasn't deliberate or anything.
Right. Right. Now that's the scene in the pool with the like 8,000 pounds of dry ice.
Yes.
That made it look like they were in an ice locker.
That would be the
locker.
One.
Okay.
Right.
Just checking.
The one that just happens to be there right next to where this string quartet is happening.
Because, the Russian consulate is definitely going to have an Olympic-sized swimming pool full of dry ice in their basement.
You have to. But I digress. Writing credit goes to Robinson, Lasker, and Walter F. Parks. The film was actually conceived during pre-production on War Games.
Holy crap.
Yeah.
That was a minute before this got made.
Yeah, like a decade.
Right.
Several of the characters were actually inspired by members of the hacking and national defense communities. That being said, there was a lot of improv going on in this movie, at least according to the things that I read. And even if you just watch the movie, it's like, well, that's clearly the whole cattle mutilations are up.
That's why you brought Dan Aykroyd into this movie.
Yeah.
You need a conspiracy theory guy who's funny. I mean, that's literally Dan Aykroyd. He just played himself in this movie.
Right. He really did. He just, everything that he's ever read about, every conspiracy he's ever read about, it's just like he just verbal diarrheas all over this movie.
My favorite line in this movie was when he's hooking him up with the little microphone before he goes in to steal the tape machine.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, these are the mics that they use when they fake the moon landing that they shot at Norton Air Force Base in San Bernardino, California, which, I mean, it stands out to me because having grown up in San Bernardino, California for the first 10 years of my life, I know where Norton Air Force Base is. And sadly, it's highly probable that if they did fake it, that's probably one of the places they would have done it, right?
Right.
So it just, but I mean, he peppered it with all of that kind of stuff, which is exactly what he did in Ghostbusters too, by the way. It was just paranormal stuff that he was doing in there.
Yeah, his fingerprint is everywhere in this. One other little fun bit of lore, I hope this is true too, from Wikipedia. It says that at one point during the project, Robinson received a visit from men claiming to be representatives of the Office of Naval Intelligence, who indicated that for reasons of national security, the film could not include any references to a, quote, handheld device that decodes codes. Robinson was highly concerned as such a device was a key to the film's plot, but after consulting with a lawyer from the film studio, he realized that the quote-unquote visit had been a prank instigated by a member of the cast, possibly Aykroyd or Redford. Which is awesome.
That is pretty amazing, considering that that's the gag in the movie.
Yeah, I hope that's Redford that did that, honestly. Just the fact that, like, he never actually found out who did it exactly,
right,
is the best part of this.
That is pretty fantastic.
As far as photography goes, John Lindley was the director of photography. He was a frequent collaborator with Robinson, having shot Field of Dreams and Sum of All Fears, as well as he's worked on stuff like Sleeping with the Enemy and Father of the Bride, and he's still very active today. You're right, though. It feels like an 80s movie. It doesn't feel like a 90s movie at all. The way it's shot, the way it's, like we already touched on, like it's got like that very purposeful, like we have an idea for this shot and we're going to see it through.
Right. And I think, when you say that it was made or conceived in 1980-81, it doesn't feel like they updated anything other than the computer stuff.
Exactly.
The whole vibe of the movie, I know we were sailing out of the 80s when this movie came out. So some of the clothing and everything is still going to be kind of the same. But like even Mary McDonald's hair, everything, even the music, all of it just sort of felt like it was leaning more towards No Way Out and maybe not as much towards something 90s-y that would have been a little more contemporary. But a product of its time for sure.
And even the editor that we got for this, Tom Rolfe, Tom Rolfe worked on Taxi Driver. Tom Rolfe also cut War Games, The Right Stuff, Heat, and The Horse Whisperer. So very embedded in the 80s as well. So
now that I think about it, it does have a very War Games vibe in terms of the pacing.
Yeah.
And the performances as well. So I could see that, because if this is a guy that edited The Right Stuff, that's a completely different movie from an editing standpoint.
Yes. Very slow,
and Heat, for that matter. So, there's a lot of A players on this here. I just think, I don't know, maybe just it should have been done in the 80s. It came out in the 90s. They'll make it again in the 2020s, I'm sure. And who knows what that'll look like.
I get the feeling this is one of those movies. You think about how like Ocean's 11, for instance, that Clooney did. That was like his excuse to just have fun with all his favorite actors and friends and goof off and stuff. I feel like this might have been sort of Redford's. He wanted to do, he needed some junk food to just like chew on for a little bit before he went on to his next like meaningful thing.
Yeah. Well, and you get Sidney Poitier in there, right?
Oh my goodness.
And this is not a movie you would think you'd see him in. And I'm kind of like Robert Redford, I don't think we've ever done a movie before.
Yeah.
You want to do this movie with me? We'll be the serious people. Everybody else will be the color for the film.
Right.
So he's like, sure, I think I can do that. So I don't know. But can you imagine being on the set of this movie, being like River Phoenix,
right,
or David Strathairn at this point,
right,
and just going, they're going, I'm fucking doing a scene with Robert Redford and Sidney Poitier.
Yes.
What the hell is happening?
Well, and I feel like listen, I love Sidney Poitier, but I feel like he didn't get the memo about this movie. Like, he didn't get the memo that he didn't have to play it maybe he was told to play it serious because maybe he needed to be the serious guy. I don't know. Because because he plays it so straight.
He absolutely, this is the kind of role you would expect Robert Redford to be the straight guy in, right? But he had to play it for a little bit of comedy.
Yeah.
So you needed to have Bud Abbott to go along with his relatively Lou Costello, right?
Yes.
But you think of all of the the talent that's in this movie.
Yeah.
And the Oscar nominations for the folks that were in this movie.
Holy cow,
and the level of movie that these people have made. And you're like, how did they all get in this film?
How did they afford them all, too?
Well, and I mean, David Strathairn wasn't a thing then. Mary McDonnell had just come off of Dances with Wolves, I think.
River Phoenix was still getting started, kind of.
Yeah. So, I mean, there was talent there that was making its way up. But, I mean, when you think about just now, when you look at this, because I was like, this is going to be a bang-up film with the people, and I'm like, not a bang-up film. not a bang-up film.
No. This is it's on cable today, and it's currently playing, and I have nothing else to do, so I guess I'll watch it. And then you get done, and you go, I just lost 2 hours of my life watching this.
I think I could get away. Here's the thing. This is probably going to go on the True Lies list for me.
Oh, boy.
Except for the fact, if somebody did a supercut of just the scenes with Mary McDonnell, I would probably watch that.
That checks out.
As far as Mary McDonnell with short hair and a big turtleneck sweater that's trying to swallow her head. Chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss. The budget for this movie was $23 million, which, I mean, I know it's 1992, so it's like, I have to realize that in 1992, $23 million was like $123 million or something.
Yeah, that's still an indie movie at this point, even now.
Right. Which is just crazy. Sure. Like, how much did these people get paid? Sidney Poitier's in this.
Right. When the fanciest car they showed was like a Volkswagen Carmen Ghia, it wasn't going into the budget of the production.
Right. So budget for the movie was $23 million, and the movie made $105.2 million worldwide at the box office. For being such a success, I'm kind of shocked I never actually saw this, especially considering this is the year I graduated high school. So, but it just never, I don't know, maybe I was doing a lot of stuff in 92, man. I mean, I was going off to college and, all things.
Hey, I did not see it either. But by the time I got in the 90s, I think I was working like 12 jobs. So I had no free time. The only movies I went to see either had starships or lightsabers, and those didn't come out until much, much later. So
yes.
Yeah. So I had to be very, very mindful of where my movie budget was going, and sneakers, just being not a computer person, sneakers was like something that I was like, that seems cool. No.
I forgot to get into it. We talked a little bit about it, but music. James Horner did the score.
Whoop, whoop.
Yeah, James Horner, big, legend. He did Titanic. The guy's done everything. Look him up. There's also a very cleverly placed credit for Branford Marsalis at the beginning of this movie, just as his part comes in the actual score,
right?
Which I thought was quite. It was another one of those very and we put this here type moments. But I mean, the score it's very 80s. It's fine. It's nice. So, I know what you're going to touch on.
so James Horner, who, in addition to winning an Oscar for Titanic, which probably wasn't his best score, is also responsible for such great scores as Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, Star Trek III: The Search for Spock, Aliens, the second one. And a host of other things, right? So what I hear when I hear this, when you like me, I'm a bit of a soundtrack nerd, right? So I can tell John Williams, but I can also tell when someone's trying to be John Williams. I can tell Jerry Goldsmith, and when someone's trying to be Jerry Goldsmith. Looking at you, Basil Poldoris. But nobody ever tries to be James Horner, because James Horner basically does the same music over and over and over again, kind of like Danny Elfman.
Yeah, he kind of rips himself off.
Right. So when we're in the scene, when they break into Playtronics, and all I'm hearing is piano stuff, and then you hear the alien screech as you drag the metal bar across the piano cables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I start hearing, I swear to God, I thought on my first watching, I was hearing the music from when the APC in Aliens is driving out on fire, And it's just him hitting the ball peen hammer, man, on the metal thing. Pink, pink. And I'm just like, it's not. He didn't steal his own shit. He just came up with a different way to put it on this movie.
He Taco Bell'd it. He took the same ingredients and slightly rearranged them.
Slightly rearranged them in a corn tortilla rather than a flour tortilla on this outing.
Exactly.
So when you say it sounds very 80s, that's because everything he did in the 80s sounded like that. In fact, I think he did the music for Terminator 2 because he's a frequent Cameron guy. And I think he did do T2. And I mean, it's just like he has a toolbox.
Yeah.
He won't buy a bigger toolbox.
He refuses.
And the box that he has is just full of what he's got. So, I mean, I remember when I was a kid getting Wrath of Khan music mixed up with Aliens music because the Klingon stuff in there, in Star Trek 3, the Klingon music sounded very much like the Aliens music that came out a year later.
Yeah.
And so for years, like just, songs would float around in my head and I'd be like, I loved it when this was in Star Trek. And I'm like, no, this was Aliens. But I mean, by and large, I don't think he was the right choice for this movie.
No, it just felt the one thing I will say about it, while it sounds kind of 80s-ish in nature, what I do appreciate about it is that it doesn't feel super dated by like weird synthy things, weird synth choices, or pop culture things that were really. Because, I mean, this is 92, so, like, this is almost the grunge era. We're, like, pre-grunge, so, like...
Right.
But there was also, like, a bit of, like... This is when, like, breakbeat was sort of coming out, so, like, early Moby type stuff. So, I almost appreciate that it's this as opposed to that. Because then it would really, I mean, this movie already doesn't age particularly well, but if you had like a soundtrack that was very much of 1992, it could age even more poorly.
Yeah, well, because it reads like an 80s movie, it also kind of sounds like an 80s movie, and I think that's fine.
Yeah.
I just feel like Alan Silvestri or somebody else might have been a better choice to score something like this. Somebody's got a little bit more, I don't know, spy subtlety, for lack of a better term.
Yeah, because there are a couple moments where there's definitely like they put a square peg in a round hole, like moments where I'm just like, this should be a lot more serious, and it's not. It's
no,
like it's almost whimsical.
Yeah, I wish they just stuck with the whole. What was that playing at the beginning? Was that a clarinet?
Oh yeah, that stuff.
Whatever woodwind was playing very jazzily at the beginning. I felt like that kind of a soundtrack through this, that kind of a jazz sort of, doom kind of thing might have played on this a little better given the content, but it is what it is. And it is. The good thing is I never have to listen to it again. So we're good there too.
So just kind of going down the line here of all the main characters here. Obviously we've got Bishop, played by Robert Redford, who I think for the most part he does a good job. Occasionally I catch him phoning it in, if I'm being honest. I mean,
I don't disagree.
I love the guy, but like there's a couple little moments where I'm just like, oh, that's the best take you could do for that. Like there's a moment right after he convinces Liz to like go on the date with him to go see the mathematics guy, and he does the yes thing, and I'm like, oh God, really? That's
it's yucky.
That ain't it,
it's
man.
It's yucky. It's a thing with him that I've noticed, like in just about everything he does. When he gets that sort of blank, he looks on his face like he's trying to remember his line. But I think for him, that's his pensive look. Like he's trying to look like he's thinking in the role, right?
Right.
So I don't think it's like William Shatner, where William Shatner's pausing because he can't remember the words. I think it's because Robert Redford's line is, Bishop stares off thoughtfully for a moment as he's trying to figure out how to get out of the situation he's in.
Yes.
And that's his look. But every time I see that face come on his look in any movie, you get the worst line deliveries. It's like he's incapable of acting pensive or thoughtful in a meaningful way. And so I've seen it in The Natural. I think there's a scene that's like that in 3 Days of Condor. In fact, I think it's just his one Achilles heel. Be thoughtful, Bob. I can't really do that. But
I think he did all right in All the President's Men, but that was a long time ago. And
but I'll tell you what, he plays better depending on who he's playing with.
Yeah,
in a
and
movie.
Hoffman is going to keep him on his toes.
Right. So, I think two of his worst performances are two of my favorite movies of his, which are The Sting and Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid.
Yeah.
He looked like he was just having so much damn fun on that fucking around with Paul Newman. Both of them did not turn in solid performances, right? But who cares? It was enjoyable.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's the thing about him is like, even this movie, which is not a good movie, like it's enjoyable because there's just something about Robert Redford that's just enjoyable to watch on the screen.
Right. He's compelling. He's compelling in the same way that Brad Pitt is compelling, which is why I always say Brad Pitt is Robert Redford's reincarnation, even though Robert Redford wasn't dead. But I mean, when you look at them, like, it's funny, the dude that got to play the young bishop in this movie, right?
Yes, Gary Hirschberger. He looks just like him, man.
Yeah, he's great. But I would have loved if they'd gotten Brad Pitt to play the young version of him. Could you imagine that?
Wow. Would have been incredible. Yeah, I will say, too, the casting for the young version of both Bishop and Cosmo are spot on. Spot on. Like, so
right
good.
down to the bad accent by the guy playing young Cosmo.
Oh, my goodness. Holy cow. Also, that guy, Joe Marr is his name. I used to always goof on him in high school because, like, whenever I'd see him in stuff in movies, he looked just like do you remember that bad group, Color Me Bad?
Yes.
He looked like the ugly singer in that group. I'd be like, oh, look, it's the guy from Color Me Bad. Every time I saw Joe Marr in anything.
Oh, no.
But
that's funny.
Going down the list here, we've obviously Jason's favorite here, Mary McDonnell playing Liz, who might actually deliver the best performance in this movie, honestly.
100%. And her role was throwaway attractive woman 1, literally.
Yeah, and she managed to make it... Love interest
1.
Yeah, and yet she managed to make it far more compelling than just about anybody else in the cast.
That's and it's hilarious to me. I mean, she should just be like this throwaway, Vicky Vale from Batman kind of character, right?
Right.
She's literally just there to provide an excuse to look good, to give them a place to run to, and to be the damsel in distress at the end.
And to be the one that seduces the guy that they need the thing from.
Right, but it's all driving to get her to be the damsel in distress at the end, right?
Yeah.
And but she just comes in. I think it feels like she was playing like, well, I know I'm supposed to be the third, fourth banana here.
Right.
But I'm gonna put a little extra sauce on the taco there, and just really just because it wasn't like she was big about it, right? She
no, not at all.
Small.
It was very smart. She just, you know what it is? You can tell, it's just everything, any time I've ever seen her in anything, you can tell that there are gears working behind the eyes.
Yeah.
You know, like you just know that she's smart, and you know that this is a fully formed human being. This isn't just like a pretty face.
Right.
And that's what's always so compelling about her. Like everything that she's in, she's like that.
And I mean, she's kind of got that kind of like quiet sultriness about her. Yes. It almost feels like a 30s and 40s type of actress, that kind of performance she's putting on.
Yeah.
But then I think about it, I mean, like, why wouldn't you want to be a little bit sexy sassy if Robert Redford is your main co-star, right?
I mean,
I feel like not all of that was acting, I'm saying. She's got to be like, well, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the man, I don't know anyone who can pull off tweed the way that Robert Redford can pull off tweed.
Convincingly. Also, I would like to point out for the record, before we go on the rest of the line, that jacket that he wears, the baseball jacket, that the young one, and then he's wearing as the Robert Redford version.
Yeah.
Other than the fact that it's from the 1960s and has buttons.
Yeah.
That jacket is basically the jacket from The Natural without the patches on it.
Of course it is.
And if I recall correctly, the high school version was wearing The Natural jacket without the patches because it still had the buttons, the actual buttonhole buttons, like from the movie.
Oh my gosh!
So when I saw that, I'm like, hold on, I had to rewind. I'm like, son of a bitch!
Little nuggets here and there, little Easter eggs.
The little things that got Jason through this movie.
Exactly. So then we've got, of course, Sidney Poitier as Kreese, who just plays it so serious. And sometimes I feel like just a little too much, like a little
bit,
a little too like I specifically think of this moment when he's on the phone and he's like, I need this now or something like that. And it was just like so over the top. I'm like, my man, this is not this movie. Right? This is not that movie.
He's definitely the Danny Glover to Robert Redford's Mel Gibson in this movie.
Well, I mean, and Redford literally says the I'm too old for this shit in this movie.
Right. Right.
And then, oh boy, Jason, Ben Kingsley in this movie. What? Honestly, listen, I'm sorry, but what the fuck was he doing?
I don't know.
This movie? What is going on with Ben Kingsley in this movie?
The lack of what seems to be any kind of character motivation. It's like, I'm just going to have a top knot with my hair pulled back and play, I don't know, a semi-autistic or an autistic person. And
the accent, the weird, as you described it while we were messaging each other back and forth about this movie, it was like half New Jersey,
half
Jersey
Pakistani.
Shore. Yeah, half Pakistani, half Jersey Shore. Like, what was that accent? It was so bad. He flitted in and out of it on top of that.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he never busted it back into his normal accent, which is fine.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's not like Jersey's that hard to do. I mean, if you want to do it, you could just do it, right? Watch a few more mobster movies. It's easy to do.
And just the way that they painted...
Marty. I cannot kill my friend, Marty. I mean, what are you... Marty.
It's so... Between his performance and just the way they built this character is all so weird. Like, and I know that they're trying to make him crazy. I know that that's part of the deal behind it, is they're trying to paint him as crazy. Because like when you get to see his office or whatever, and the weird artwork on the walls and shit, and the weird glass room that is apparently bug free, that you can talk freely in and nobody can hear you or whatever, and
the cone of silence from Get Smart.
Yeah, the sparse furniture, like it's all so strange. It's all like, and there's no motivation behind it.
No. His character literally feels to me like the guys who wrote this movie took the one big computer guy they knew back in 1980 and made a character out of him. That guy was probably, like I said, he was probably autistic. He was probably very gifted in what he did. He probably had very little in the way of social skills.
Right.
And because nobody really knew what that stuff was back then, they decided to play it as quirky rather than just as part of that person's personality. So you give those notes to Kingsley, and he's like, can I just do Gandhi with hair? Because at least there's something there in that piece. But yeah, I don't, it was distracting enough that it took me out of the movie anytime there was enough interaction between the two of them.
Oh yeah, I mean, and I keep thinking about the one that I always come back to is there's this moment when Cosmo wants to run back to his office this is when they've already captured Liz.
Right.
And he runs back to his office to make sure that the box is still in his office. And when he runs over there, it's this weird...
Oh, I know!
This weird skip, jog thing. It's so whimsical and confusing. I'm like,
very
That
intentional.
is not...
Honestly, I want to know what the direction was on this character.
Seriously, it was so dramatic and not somebody who's urgently running back to his office. It was a weird jumpity jump run.
Right. Like he should have had a scarecrow in one arm and a Tin Man on the other, right?
Yeah. Anyway, we'll get into more of that later.
Yeah, so just so all of the 10s understand, his performance in The Assignment was significantly better than this one.
Yes,
and that was formerly my watershed for worst Ben Kingsley performance in a movie, but it has now been elevated because of this one.
Oh, absolutely. moving on. Then we've got Whistler, played by a very young David Strathairn.
Right?
Yeah, I mean, definitely didn't get that slickness that he had in the Bourne movies.
To be honest, I think also the second best performance in this movie.
Yeah, he does a really good job and convincingly blind, actually.
Right? He got the Kevin Pollak crooked eye trick down pretty good.
Yeah. There were some good little character things for him, too, to kind of chew on. Like, right at the beginning when he's, like, reading a Playboy in Braille. It's such a clever joke.
For the articles.
It's such a clever joke. I mean...
It really is. It really is. But, I mean, like, he had some very convincing, like, performance moments when he's sitting next to Kreese's daughter and he reaches over to grab her hand and he knocks some food over, right? I mean, he stayed fully engaged in what he was supposed to be in this movie. So, kudos for being a thing rather than just being Robert Redford being a Robert Redford and Sidney Poitier probably just being Sidney Poitier.
And Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd being Dan Aykroyd. Congratulations for actually being a character that you're playing as an actor in this movie.
Indeed. And like I said, then we've got Dan Aykroyd playing Mother, who I think we've pretty much talked enough about so far. I mean, he's just being Dan Aykroyd. If
you like Dan Aykroyd, you're not going to be disappointed.
That's right. And then we've got River Phoenix as Carl, which names... Why did they name River Phoenix Carl? Like,
why did they name River Phoenix River? I mean...
That's true. That's an excellent point.
And I still, to this day, rest in peace, River Phoenix.
Yes.
How is he related to Joaquin Phoenix?
They are, two opposite sides of a coin there. Like,
yeah, I don't know.
They are. It's like night and day between the two of them, man.
I will tell you, though, if this had been a Mission Impossible movie, Carl would have got killed at the beginning like Emilio Estevez did.
Oh, absolutely. He would have been in the elevator shaft, just boop. Well, he was in an elevator shaft in this movie.
He was in an elevator shaft.
He just didn't die.
I feel like this character was put in this movie to appeal to the youths.
The youths. Well, and there's a moment in this movie where he gives off some serious Casey Affleck vibes from Ocean's 11 when he's at when he comes in with the big crates of what was it, cleaning fluid or something? I don't even remember. Drano. He comes in with Drano and he's talking it up and just being loud and be like, well, I got to drop this off. And like it felt like the Balloon Boy moment in Ocean's 11.
Yes, for sure.
And then one other casting of note. Holy cow. We've got Stephen Tobolowsky as Dr. Werner Brandis, a.k.a. Ned Ryerson from Groundhog Day.
Stephen Tobolowsky Jeff Goldblum's his way through every movie he's in.
Yes.
Except for JFK. JFK, he put on a little bit of acting performance, but he's just the same guy.
Yeah.
With less hair.
He's just a little bit more icky. I mean, well, he's kind of icky in all of his movies, but he's particularly icky in this one, I think.
Yeah.
He definitely goes out of his way to be a unlikable person in this movie.
Well, and I mean, I guess he has to be, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole goal for that character, is to be unlikable and just somebody that you can prey upon to get a password and a card to get into the toy factory. All right, well, should we get into the majors here?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess we got to, huh?
Yeah, because, I mean, we're literally about to talk about what I think is the best part of this movie, which is the main credits, the title graphic.
Yeah, there's no pre-title for this one. So we see this thing that says, like, a turnip cures Elvis, which I thought was actually kind of funny. And we get all these little anagrams for the different credits before eventually getting to the title. But what's great about it is they don't tech it up. They it's just very simple graphics to change an anagram of one thing into another. It gets the point across.
Yep.
It doesn't look dated because it's not trying to be techie.
Right.
It just shows that it's like decoding something. But yeah, good music track in there.
Yep. It makes you so hopeful that you're about to spend 2 hours seeing a really good movie and then doesn't deliver.
And then it doesn't deliver. So then we get into it. And, we're into December of 1969. And, of course, everything in 1969 is at a 4:3 aspect ratio. So we're in and slightly desaturated.
Yes, absolutely. Not quite black and white.
No, just desaturated.
We're not looking at through the halcyon glasses of nostalgia here, folks.
That's right. So it's snowing out, and it's we're at the campus of I forget what campus they're on. I don't know. It doesn't really matter.
A college campus where it snows.
Yes, somewhere probably where it snows. Okay.
Action.
So then we see Gary Hirschberger playing young Robert Redford very convincingly, as well as Joe Marr playing a young version of Ben Kingsley. And they're doing some very old school hacking.
Very old school,
like dial up into a what were they called? What were the websites that you would dial into before the internet? It was like
don't look at me, man. I already said I wasn't a computer guy at the beginning of this thing.
All right. Well, I'm sure somebody will correct us on that. Maybe C knows a lot of things. Anyway, I just know that there were a lot of websites that you would dial into to connect to before the actual internet existed. And that's what they were doing. But they were dialing into very big websites, or very
secure,
big,
supposedly secure, or
supposedly
at least
secured, databases or whatever. And so they were moving $25,000 from the Republican Party to the Black Panthers. And I mean, this is so old school. There's literally like one of those phone things next to the modem that they're using, like an actual phone is sitting next to it, which I appreciated. That seemed slightly accurate, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
although 69 is really early for hacking.
I don't feel like anybody was actually doing that. And I don't know, but
like I remember early incarnations of stuff in like the late 80s, but late 60s is I mean, who knows?
Computers in 69 were still punch cards and reel-to-reels.
Yeah. Well, there were reel-to-reels in that room, so I don't know.
I know, but I mean, were banks on computer systems at that point in time to get money from?
Yeah.
Was the Republican Party using a computer to store its data?
Its funding?
Maybe, right. Maybe this is real. I don't know, and maybe somebody out there, one of the 10s, does know. But also, I didn't feel compelled enough to go on a deep dive to find out for myself because I'm not. Once we're done with this, I'm never going to remember it. So it's good.
Yeah. Well, I did do a little bit of searching, and I did find that there was something called ARPANET, which was like the precursor to the internet, which was born that year, 1969, on October 29th, connecting between UCLA and Stanford. So.
Well, I do know about that, but I didn't think that was until the 70s. That's cool.
Yeah. So unless all these major government offices and parties were all connected to UCLA and Stanford, I'm not sure how this holds up.
They were not at UCLA or Stanford because it was snowing where they were at. It was
snowing, so it wouldn't have been them anyway.
As some of our listeners may not be aware, it doesn't snow in Southern California. It only rains in Southern California if you listen to the Mamas and the Papas.
To Tony.
Who stole it from the Mamas and the Papas.
Oh, yes. Sorry. My bad.
Tony. Fuck you, Ben.
All right, back to the movie. So they're talking, we get a taste of Cosmo's crazy early on in this movie where he's talking about how the wrong people are getting all the money and money is the problem. And so that's why they're moving all the, that's why they decide to move 25,000 from the Republican Party to Black Panthers. And then they go after, wasn't it Nixon's personal account?
Yep.
And they were like defunding his entire account miraculously through this dial-up account that they have or whatever. But just as as they're working on that, Cosmo does his dumb little sleight of hand magic trick to determine who's going to go get the pizza that they apparently ordered.
Right.
And of course, Bishop guesses wrong, so he has to go get the pizza. So he leaves out into the snow, and then we of course find out that Cosmo didn't have the coin in either one of his hands. So you find out he's kind of a cheat anyway.
Which is very important because you realize he did it to himself.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? It wasn't just a random chance that Bishop had to go out, right? He didn't want to go out. So he's the one who fucked himself by not playing fair.
Right. And his entire blame game in this movie is like completely false. He's just convinced himself that somehow it's Bishop's fault that he wound up in jail and yada, yada, yada. So Bishop leaves to get the pizza. And as he's trying to start the van, the police show up and bum rush this little office that Cosmo's in, and Bishop sees him being taken away by the police, and then Bishop decides to make himself scarce for a number of years while Cosmo goes to jail. And then we go to the future. We sort of fade out of that scene, and then we go to current Bishop, who is sleeping, which perhaps he's dreaming about all this, and he wakes up, and he's there with Kreese, and waking up in a van with Sidney Poitier. It's like, okay.
It's better than living in a van down by the river.
That's true. That's true. So he wakes up, and he's on his latest little mission, if you will. The job in progress is happening, and Mother is at this cable vault. Meanwhile, Carl is in a fire escape, and Whistler is reading Braille, as we spoke about earlier, reading a Braille version of Playboy, which in and of itself is a great joke.
It really is.
And we establish right away that Mother is this conspiracy theorist, or that Mother is really just Dan Aykroyd, because he's talking away about that as he's trying like different wires while he's down in this vault.
He's basically down in the maintenance room, right? So
yeah. So he's trying all these different wires, and apparently Whistler can hear these different tones when he connects with the different wires, and he's able to distinguish which one is the one that's the alarm tone, which is
by the sound.
Yeah. But I feel like they really play up the fact that Whistler has almost Daredevil-like superpowers because he's blind, that his hearing is just that good, but it's fine. It's that kind of movie. So then they activate the smoke bomb that apparently they had gotten a deposit box in this bank, and they detonated a smoke bomb remotely, which then sets off a smoke alarm. So then the kind of goofy security guard goes crazy and starts looking for the manual about what to do in the case of a smoke alarm going off or whatever. Meanwhile, we see Bishop and Kreese running into the bank. Redford falls when he tries to jump over the counter and does the whole "I'm getting too old for this shit" shtick.
Right.
5 years after Lethal Weapon did it. So at that point, the security guard makes a phone call, not realizing who he's talking to at the beginning, and the person on the other side is sort of talking him through, well, are there any other signs that there's smoke or whatever? He's like, no. He's like, well, we've had a lot of these going off lately. It's just, they've usually been false alarms. Just wait to see if anything else happens or whatever. And meanwhile, the security guard's freaking out and wants to like call 911 and all that stuff. And the guy on the other line is trying to talk him out of it. Meanwhile, we see Kreese, and he creates this account on a computer inside the bank that holds $100,000 in it. And then the alarm goes off and the kid's like, oh yeah, it just went off. The great payoff at the end of that, where he's like, good job, son.
Good job, son. Whistler.
So then we cut to the next day, and Bishop comes in very well dressed. A very Shawshank Redemption-y moment where he walks in to withdraw all the money from the account. He says something like, somehow I just didn't feel like my money was safe here.
Right.
And he takes the money, and then immediately, he gives a little winky wink to the security guard as he's walking, and then goes up the stairs right to where all these people are waiting for him to give his feedback on their security system, and hands them the money and is like, your security system is terrible.
Right.
So, and this sort of establishes too, this moment sort of establishes that he is sort of a stand-up guy, despite the fact that, this is what he does for a living, is to basically, he's being paid to break into people's banks to analyze their security. The fact that he's not walking away with a cut of it other than what the bank is paying him to do this. You know, because at the end, the lady typing the check is like, well, you sure aren't getting paid a lot to do this, you know, or something like that.
She basically says, so you break into other people's places to see that it can be done. And he's like, yeah, it's a living. She's like, not a good one.
Yeah.
To which, if they had stayed one beat longer, I'd have been like, Robert, it's like, well, what the fuck do? You just sit here and type paper checks all day.
Yeah.
Fuck you woman. And your judgment, lady.
Exactly. Just because you can line up your paper bale with this.
Yeah. I mean, look at your dress. Come on. Want to start talking about that too?
So anyway, so then we get to what I like to call Sneakers headquarters, because I don't know what else to call it.
Sneakers HQ!
And it just feels just like the Ghostbusters headquarters to me. It's just sort of probably not in a good part of town, so they got a good deal on the space.
Right.
But it looks very expensive regardless.
Right.
The whole running out of petty cash vibe. So,
and of course Dan Aykroyd's there, so I wish there'd been a fire pole.
Right, exactly. This thing is great.
Did you guys try this?
When can we move in?
We gotta buy this place.
So they're talking about the job and what have you, and then suddenly some well-to-do gentlemen who had followed Bishop from the bank to Sneakers HQ show up at their door, and Carl sees them initially, and he's like, Redford says, how are the shoes? Do they look expensive?
What are the shoes? Yep.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
Yeah. So he's like, okay, look busy, guys. And then he walks up there and talks to these guys. So they are telling him that they're federal agents, or they're with the NSA.
Right.
And
can I just stop for a second and
yes.
point out that one of them is a very young Timothy Busfield with a mustache. That's all that I need to say. I don't remember the name of the actor that's playing the older agent.
Yes.
He's never played a good guy in his entire life, I don't think.
No, definitely not.
Or if he is, he was a good guy who turned into a bad guy. I mean, or he played somebody's dad. Maybe he was a good guy if he was somebody's dad. But I don't ever remember this guy being anything but a bad guy heavy. And then you've got Timothy Busfield, shortly cut, well-coiffed red hair and brick red mustache and everything. There's Timothy Busfield. Hi, I'm Timothy Busfield. I'm here to fake you out because you're going to think I'm a good guy, but then I turn out not to be.
So Bishop brings him into this little conference room thing that they've got, and they start listing off all the crimes that each member of the team has had, which is sort of this exposition moment that you find out the background on all the members of Team Sneakers.
Right.
And and after they list off all this stuff, and then they get to Marty, and they're like, they have a folder, and then of course nothing's in the folder. So they make it look like they don't know anything about him.
Right.
Even though at the end, obviously, they pay that
well,
off. But
that's the point. They're trying to say, we know there's nothing about you because we know that's not you.
But we know you.
Yeah.
So at this point, Bishop sort of understands that these guys work for the government. And he's like, listen, guys, we don't work with the government. So, and he's like, and what's that guy's name you said? The redhead guy?
Timothy Busfield.
He's like, we're the good guys, Marty. And he's like, gee, can't tell you what a relief that is, dick.
Yeah.
So as they're leaving, he hands him a card, and he's like, call us if you change your mind, Mr. Bryce.
Yep.
Sort of alluding to, we know everything about you. And as he opens up the little piece of paper, he realizes it's a wanted picture of him from 1969. So we sort of cut to the next day, and Bishop visits these NSA guys at their office, as I'm making little air quotes here. And maybe my favorite line in the entire movie, when he goes, I could have joined the NSA, but the feds found out my parents were married.
It's a damn good joke.
Yeah.
It's kind of too highbrow for this movie.
It really is, but it's a great joke. And the other guy, not Busfield, gets so mad at that joke, even though he's not actually part of the NSA. He's just part of Cosmo's gang or whatever. But maybe it's one of those things where he was a former NSA guy or something like that.
Well, I think they established that he was. The actor's name is Eddie Jones.
Eddie Jones.
And his character's name was Buddy Wallace.
Yes.
But I think they alluded, because when he's in the car with Greg, with the Russian guy, they're going through the books of potential ones, and they found him there. And I think he said he was in the NSA prior.
That's what it is. That's why he takes it so personally.
Right.
So the NSA guys say that a famous mathematician is being paid by the Russians to create a decoder box. And they also bring up some kind of organization or some sort of thing that they don't know anything else about called CIC Astronomy. Pay attention, kids. And basically, they are offering to wipe Bishop's slate clean and pay him $175,000 to steal this decoder box, which immediately made me think, is this a Lecter?
Yes.
Yes, they need to bring the Lecter to the NSA. And of course, Bishop doesn't want to do it, but they're basically blackmailing him because at this point, Bishop doesn't realize that these guys aren't the NSA. So he has to take them at face value at the moment.
Right.
So he's kind of being forced into trying to steal this thing for them.
They do offer to pay him, though.
They do offer to pay him, and quite a large sum, so it doesn't matter. So he then goes back to Sneakers HQ and tells the gang, and Kreese is all kinds of mad. But even he is sort of hiding from why he was fired from the CIA. So it's just everybody's got secrets. But what's great about it is that immediately Whistler's like, I'm in for the money. I don't care if you go to jail.
Right.
As his mother. So they all end up deciding to do this job with Bishop. And as they're sort of leaving, they're like, well, who's going to go with you to this mathematician's? So the mathematician that is building this box, he's holding some sort of lecture the next day. And they're like, well, who are you going to bring with you? And that's when he mentions Liz, and everybody stops in their tracks. So apparently, this is someone from his life that,
there's some history there.
There's some history there, exactly. And can I just say that Redford is really good at a double take? Really good at a double take.
Yeah, right.
When the guys stop after he says that he's going to contact Liz, and he looks, and then he does the double take look up. He's really good at it, because I think he does it a couple times in this movie, and he's pretty convincing at it, actually.
Yeah, His isn't done for comedy. His is kind of done as a real what kind of thing.
Yeah. So then we cut to the next day, and we're at this private school, and it's a Dances with Wolves lady, and she's teaching piano, but with short hair, and Jason's very happy about all that.
Indeed.
And she's teaching piano, and we get this funny little moment where Bishop walks in, and he thinks at first that she's playing the piano, but then she's not moving around the way a piano player would, and then he realizes that there's a very small little girl that's actually playing the piano. And then the little girl runs off, and we sort of establish that Bishop is like an old flame, and that she's like, I'm not coming back to you, and all that. And so he then tries to convince her to come with him to basically, I kind of actually like this aspect of it, the fact that he's literally asking her, please go to this thing with me so that you can explain to me what it means. Like sort of immediately establishing that she's actually smarter than he is in a lot of ways.
Right.
And I also like, too, how she's like, immediately she doesn't want to do it. And she's talking about how his little business, and she's like, not even a business, more like a little gang. Do you guys have passwords and secret
club?
Code?
Yeah.
A little club, more like a little club. And again, she is owning the role as opposed to just being a damsel in distress that's just sort of one note. Oh, and I liked it too that she's like, I need you to explain it to me. And she's like, well, read a book.
Right.
So, and then just as she's walking out, he throws down the last thing is like, they found out about me. They know who I am. And so that's when she agrees to go out. And that's when we get the really bad, the little fist pump thing that's just
awful. It's awful.
It's so unconvincing. It's maybe Redford's worst piece of acting I've ever seen him do. So, as much as I love the man.
It felt like something that came out of Legal Eagles, which I don't think I've watched Legal Eagles since I saw it on Showtime in the 80s. And it's carried that level of bad taste in my mouth for Robert Redford. I'm like, you could do a lot of things, but comedy is definitely not his strong suit.
No, it isn't. So then we're at the lecture, and immediately they're sitting there in the dark in the in the auditorium or whatever, and he's like, "Are you seeing anyone?" And she's like, "Shh."
She shushes him, yeah.
Shushes him. And so at that point, Liz sort of breaks down to Bishop that this mathematician, Dr. Gunther Janik,
right,
is essentially working on essentially working on an algorithm to break cryptography, like these unbreakable codes. And that's when he sort of sits back up in attention. It's no longer just washing over him as like mathematical jargon that he doesn't understand. He realizes, oh, maybe I should be paying attention to all this, because now I'm
which then I think tells us that he's smarter than he's playing on, and he brought Liz along to compliment her. Not that she's probably still not smarter than he is, but
right,
that he could have easily done this by himself.
Yeah,
and he was using it as an excuse.
Absolutely, 100%. And that's when, of course, she says, "Are you seeing anyone?" And that's when he shushes her, which is a great little back and forth thing. And then they're at the after, I'm not even going to call it an after party. They're just in the lobby or whatever of this auditorium. And Gunther is talking to people who have just been listening to him lecture, and lots of mulling around and what have you. And Liz sort of conjectures that he's already broken it just based on the way he's talking, because Gunther seems pretty confident about himself, talking about all this, like,
that's right. Look at me in my white turtleneck and sport coat. I have done everything I need to do.
I mean, honestly, that outfit is about the most 90s thing in this movie, really. The long, just early grunge era long hair with
yeah. So, 100%. If you'd look, he was probably wearing some very shiny white sneakers.
Yes.
Sneakers.
Got it. So while Liz gets her coat, Bishop's old Russian acquaintance, Gregor, notices him, and he's like, oh, shit. And so he goes and talks to him, and Greg goes and talks to Liz, and Liz doesn't want to deal with him either, and he's all excited because he thinks that they're back together, and Liz walks back to where Bishop is, and so he's sort of insisting almost that they're back together, and he's like, well, we must meet again, and so he tells him about this string quartet performance that's happening on Thursday, and he hands him a business card, and he's like, Bishop looks at it like, what's this? And Greg is now apparently a cultural attaché.
Yeah, he was clearly a spook, though.
Yeah, clearly a Russian spook. So at that point, Greg leaves, and then Bishop and Liz notice that Gunther gets this very important message from his female assistant, and then leaves immediately. So at this point, Liz is smart enough to know, you're just going to go chase after him, and we're not actually going to go out to dinner. So... And she wears, God, she really is a good actress, because she wears that face so well that like it just sort of melts. Like she just sort of knows, like, oh God, here we go. He's gonna do his like dumb little sneakers club shit, and I'm just gonna have to go fade away.
That's what I'm saying. I think 70% of her performance is in her facial expressions in this movie.
Yes,
and her body language.
Yeah.
So she brought all the tools to this
role. She really
role
did.
For such a not important to bring tools to role.
Yes.
And I admire her for that 150%.
Yeah, absolutely. So Bishop breaks the date, and now we're to nighttime, and they're already in the van. The van's already there, and it's across the street from wherever Gunther's office is, and Kreese, Carl, and Whistler are also in the van, while Mother is out on this window washer type ladder. And they're giving him, I love how they're giving him shit, like without him hearing it, about how many safety wires Mother's using.
Right.
Like he's like got all this stuff. You almost, what, no parachute? So, and then it's very interesting, like 1992, I'm thinking about the tech and the fact that one of their key tools that they use in so many of these scenes is they use this pro video camera, this with a long lens on it, to like look into all these things. And I'm wondering, I mean, I guess it's that good, but I'm just thinking about like low light situations. I'm thinking about like, how clear is it really going to be? I don't know.
So the one thing that I've always heard about this movie is that from a technical standpoint, much of it was reasonably or very accurate to whatever technology was at the time.
Okay.
And that they took a few bits of journalistic license on things here and there, but
yeah.
was more like extrapolations of real existing technology kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that extends into the videography portion of our show.
Yes. I mean, maybe. I suppose, if you had like a $40,000 pro journalistic, like news camera with a telephoto lens on it, that's, another.
Yeah, I don't know, because they were still shooting. They were still shooting on some kind of a film or tape or something with that.
92, they were probably shooting like Beta Max, I'm guessing.
Yeah, that I'm saying. So something in a cartridge. Most likely.
Yeah.
And so there's no digital, so there's no signal processing. There's no way to clean up the light and everything like that. Unless it's built into the lens. So you have to it's sort of like the binocular gag that's been in movies for a million years, right?
Yeah.
Let's just put a black card with 2 circles on it, and all of a sudden it's a binoculars. Or let's take one hole with a crosshair in it, and it's a scope.
Exactly. So basically they're watching from across the street this thing go down in Dr. Gunter Janik's office. And they're hoping to get password keystrokes to try and get into his computer. And meanwhile, they're looking around the office for where there might be a black box or anything that resembles a black box or whatnot.
Right.
And also, as this is all going down, it's important to note, too, that Carl is sort of relaying to Whistler what he's seeing.
Right.
So that Whistler has an idea of what he's listening to and what he and being able to analyze it from without being, in a weird sort of way, blinded by what is being seen.
Right.
And so, but of course, first, we have to get to this moment where Gunter's assistant, Dr. Reiskopf, comes in and tries to seduce him. Let's do what we did in Mexico City. So she rips her shirt open and all this very corny stuff anyway. So
and the guy playing Gunter, he's trying to be like the computer nerd who wants to get his work done.
Yes.
But there's an attractive woman with no shirt on kind of conundrum going for him. And he's like, all right, for just a few minutes.
I suppose. Whatever, nerd, you're going to get distracted.
That's right.
So after everyone is fighting to look through the camera in the van to see what's going on.
Because of what you're hearing, not really what you're seeing, per se.
Yeah. So then we cut to the next day and they're watching the recording and they're arguing over what Gunter is typing, but it's obscured, of course, by Dr. Reiskopf because she's in the way of all the shots. But that's when Whistler is listening to the actual audio and he's like, wait a minute, what do you hear? And then they realize that Gunter has like a phone answering service built into his office phone. So why would he need a answering machine there? So then they realize that the black box is probably hidden inside this answering machine that doesn't need to be there. So then the mission becomes stealing this answering machine off this guy's desk. Which, listen, here's one of the things that bothers me about this movie is that if this black box is that, if there's going to be all these governmental agencies that want to get their hands on this black box, why is it so easy for them to steal this thing?
Well, the whole reason it's in an answering machine is because it looks innocuous on his desk.
I know, but I'm just saying, if this is a thing that's really wanted by all these government spies, like different nations or whatever, it just feels very easy that he's able to that nobody else is on the hunt for it yet.
So I think the thing is that nobody knows for sure that this thing exists or not.
That's true.
But Cosmos people have some sort of inside track.
Right. They somehow know that he's already cracked it.
Right. But the rest of the world doesn't really know if it exists or not. So hiding it in plain sight kind of makes more sense.
I suppose so. All right. Well, I digress. So
that's my sneaker logic.
Yes. So now we're trying to steal this black box, and Mother is sort of playing Q in this scene, kind of talking about the thing that you were talking about at the beginning of our review about the fake moon landing and the microphone and the little earpiece that he's using and whatnot, which I thought was fun. And then we see the lobby of the Coolidge Institute where Gunter's office is. And that's when Carl is doing his best imitation of Casey Affleck but in this case being the Drano delivery guy and just yapping at the guy behind the lobby desk.
Right.
Meanwhile, we get Redford coming in with a cake in it, or saying that he needs to bring a cake up, and he's trying to talk at the guy at the exact same time. So they're trying to sort of get the guy behind the lobby all rustled up, behind the security desk all rustled up, so that he can get himself in. So then he comes back with the cake, or at least a box that looks like a box cake.
And balloons.
And he's like, just beat me in.
Right.
So he gets up there, and then the one moment in this movie that really shows the age is the high tech, and I say that in air quotes, the number padded door that he has to break into. And they start looking up instruction booklets for key padded doors and what have you, and then they do the dumb gag of, well, try this. And then he just kicks the door in.
Right. And is it just me, or was it like, that seemed like an awful lot of instruction just to kick the door in?
Right. Well, I mean, I'm sure.
I get the joke, but
yeah.
I don't know.
The thing of it is like, I don't know. I wonder if in 1992 that joke would land better, because I saw it coming from a mile away. I'm like, he's going to kick the door.
So did I. So, but I mean, what happened is I don't think Redford sold it, because he was just like, like there wasn't enough time for there to be an actual conversation going on the other end of that earpiece. He was going through the motions for the gag, but he didn't really sell it as an actor.
Yeah. Again, comedy, not maybe his strongest
Not his strong suit. Not really.
So he kicks in the door, and there's the box. And and just as he's like packing it up, Dr. Reiskoff comes in, and we get this goofy improv thing. And I don't know if this is like he's clearly improving in the scene. I don't know if if he's improving the dialogue, or whether that was actually written, if you take my meaning.
I get it.
And he does this whole like private investigator story thing about how he's a private investigator for Gunter's wife, estranged wife.
Wealthy heiress wife.
Yeah, wealthy heiress wife. And just how like the guys in the van are feeding him lines, and then Whistler's like, and give him head whenever he wants. And he starts saying it and then has to fall short. Kind of a funny moment. That part actually worked really well.
Yeah, it kind of did.
And then he gets away with it. He somehow convinces Dr. Reiskoff to, just
keep it quiet
or whatever. And, not tell anybody about it, and then he walks off with the black box. And then we cut to a celebration party, which, I mean, this celebration party is there is stuff up, like the amount of like big party favors and stuff, like and food, and like this is a big party they threw. And I'm thinking to myself, we are only
given the likelihood is that the people who put that stuff up were dudes. It's a pretty well thought out and organized party decoration.
Yeah, well, and I'm just thinking to myself, this is too early in this movie for them to be celebrating this hard, because clearly something else is happening. So we get some weird choices here where they have like the scene. I mean, it's kind of funny, the scene of Liz dancing with everybody.
Yes,
where we get David Stratham's imitating a blind person dancing, and then we get River Phoenix's weird dance, and then we cut to see Mother is telling conspiracy stories to Kreese's wife, and then Kreese's like, don't listen to him. Like, just don't. I do find it funny how they tried to build up that weird static between Kreese and Mother.
Right.
Like how they just annoy the crap out of each other.
Yeah.
Or it's really just one way. It's just one. So then we get this little moment where Bishop is talking to Carl about his past exploits, and everyone starts sort of listening in, and he mentions that he basically got lucky and that Cosmo didn't, and that's why Cosmo went to prison. And then he thinks Cosmo died in prison. Then they talk about what they're going to do with their part of the money, and Whistler wants world peace. Sure. So, I mean, it's fine. And of course, this is all setting up for the payoff at the end of the movie, of course, what they all want with what they're going to do with all the money. But then we cut to Whistler and Carl. They start examining the black box while Bishop and Liz and Kreese and his wife are playing Scrabble, and Carl reads C-Tech on the box. And then Bishop starts getting weird ideas. Bishop starts having an aha moment, and he starts using the Scrabble letters for C-Tech astronomy to come up with a different, like an anagram, to try and figure out what it might, maybe it's an anagram to something. My personal favorite was Cootie's rat semen.
Didn't even say that one out loud.
So until he finally arrives at Too Many Secrets, which seems, that one seems like, well, this has got to be it. This must mean something, but we still don't know what that means. And it really sort of feels like it's like an aha moment, but it's like, well, what does it even mean? Like it's really only meant for the plot, for what, like for somebody else to say it so that you go, oh,
right.
He knows the secret. He knows the secret code, that sort of thing.
Well, but that's the thing. It seems like something clever that someone who isn't clever would do. Right.
Yes. Yes.
So a guy who's more interested in numbers might think that was funny.
Yeah. So in the meantime, we see that Whistler is hooking the box up to like an I/O port on his computer, and they're now dialing in. They're going right back to 1969. They're dialing into a government computer site, and it's some major government site known to be encrypted, and it immediately decodes this site, which this is maybe the most dated technology moment in the movie, where it doesn't feel real. Like, it kind of feels real, the decoding moment when the text unscrambles to form the website.
Right. Well, and I mean, I don't know. It looked kind of like what an encrypted site would look like, right? All that weird Unicode,
I mean, it's got the right
everything.
font. It's got the right font. It's got the Unix looking,
And at the end of the day, it was still on a CRT without some sort of flashy graphics that don't exist, right? So watching it do kind of a little matrixy thing while it interprets what letters and numbers are, it looked a little contrived, but at least it looked period accurate.
So I can't be too mad at it. It's not like as egregious as something in like MI2. So
or 3 or 4
or 3
or 5 or 6 7 Jason Bourne Identity.
So anyway, I do like in this scene too that Whistler has a Braille terminal.
Yeah.
Like that I thought was really cool that he had like this Braille, this very early
it was an adjustable one too, right? So it pushed the raised dots up for whatever it was supposed to be. That was very cool.
Yeah. And I felt like the music in this scene actually did work like fairly well. Like when the first major site, because that's what it is. Because like at this point, after they decode the first site, Bishop and Kreese and everybody sort of gather around the computer, and they realize like I think it's an air traffic controlling computer that they go to after that. And they realize how powerful this box is, and they're like, "Oh shit! Like, shut this down. We don't. This is too much. This is too much. Like, just disconnect it and yank it, And at that point, they're so scared about it, and they realize how powerful it is that they want to lock down the whole building, including keeping Liz in Sneakers HQ with them, which was another that was a confusing moment for me, because I found it interesting that Kreese's wife and kid left, but Liz stayed. And I don't know whether it was like, did they not trust Liz?
Yes. Kreese basically said there was only one person who knew about Marty's past before we did, and that was you, so you're staying.
Right. So maybe, I don't know if he just didn't trust her, or maybe it was one of those things where if the wrong person got a hold of her, they would be able to get the information out of her.
I think they pretty much just didn't trust her.
Okay. I would trust her. Anyway.
Well, I mean, it would have been a hellacious twist if at the end she was the one that gave out the information.
That would have made it, honestly, that would have made it a better movie.
Right? But it was because Cosmo was still actually alive, so he knew the story already.
Yeah.
But yeah, that would have been great if at the end of it she's like, yeah, okay. Sneakers 2. Liz has the power.
Yeah. So then they spend the night in lockdown right before the next day when they're supposed to meet with the NSA guys, or the quote-unquote NSA guys, which sort of takes us into Act 2.
So we cut to the next morning. The night has gone by without any event other than one hot chick sleeping with a bunch of dudes, which she actually alludes to as she's walking out the door.
She does, kind of. It's weird.
Yeah, and for some reason it's okay to let her go now. I don't really understand that at all, but
yeah,
whatevs. It moves the plot along, and that's fine. So,
can I also just say real quick that it would have made more sense if Liz was the villain in the end, because if anybody was wronged by Bishop, it was Liz, not Cosmo.
Yeah, not really. But
anyway.
Or you could have had that like great moment where she walks over to Cosmo and she's like, "We've been in it all along." But
yeah,
I don't know. That feels ickier than this movie needed to be, really.
Indeed.
And I mean, I like Ben Kingsley a lot, but I'm like, well, if I had to pick Robert Redford and Ben Kingsley, I'm probably going with Bob.
Yeah. But 100% every time.
So Kreese and Bishop go to the handoff meeting place, which is, where is it exactly? I mean, they look like they're walking into some sort of a big public building. That's not the public building that they went to before, but the two NSA agents are sitting in what looks like an open air cafe with a umbrella and the tables.
Yeah, it looked like out front of a Starbucks or something. Like, it's just out in the middle of nowhere, man.
Yeah, it makes no sense whatsoever. But and I also want to point out, this is where we get to see the not so well maintained 68, 69 Carmen Ghia convertible that they wheel in Redford's hoopty. Right? Pull up to this building in. But so Bishop gets out with the box while Kreese waits in the car, which also makes zero sense.
Yeah.
But while Kreese is waiting at the car, there's a newspaper in there that apparently nobody had time to read before they left. That has a clear newspaper story that Gunter Janek was murdered and it was possible arson suspected, right? So they burned the building down on top of it.
Yeah.
And as Bishop gets up there and starts chit-chatting with the NSA guys, getting ready to get the payment. In fact, Wallace reaches into a briefcase like he's getting out his check and
quote-unquote check.
Quote-unquote check. And it's funny because Redford's still being a dick during this whole thing to him.
Yeah.
Which, I don't know why him being an asshole makes me so happy, but it really does. But just as Buddy's reaching into the briefcase, Kreese yells from behind, "Bishop, you have a phone call on," with his wired attached mobile phone device. Right? And this is where it goes off the rails, because none of this would have actually happened in the real world, right?
Well, first of all, they're in far too.
He says,
"Yeah, it's far too public of a place. If these guys are going to off Bishop, they would never do it in such an open air place."
You would think not, and I mean, we don't know that it's a gun in there, right? We're only assuming they could have actually had a check.
Yeah.
It's not like Cosmo didn't have money.
Right. I mean, for all we know, they could have got away with it scot-free.
Right.
We just don't know.
We're making the assumption. We just don't know. So later on in the movie, Buddy's like, "You didn't think we were going to let you get away with it, did you?" So maybe they would have let him have the check and they gone and killed everybody or blown up their building too. Who knows?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, Timothy Busfield definitely looks like a torch-burning asshole to me. So, he was the firebug of the group for sure. But anyway, so Bishop looks back at him and he's like, "It's your mother!" And he's like, "Okay, there's something weird going on here." And he looks at the two of them and goes, "She's really very old," and then goes the other way.
I know.
Human nature is like, all right, well, it's my mother. I'm about to get $175,000, so she can wait, right?
Nope. Mother takes precedence, apparently.
Right. So he walks down there because he knows it's not his mother, but they should have known it wasn't his mother either because he's under an assumed name. Anyway, so he goes down and Kreese is like, "Look at the newspaper that we bought on the way here but didn't read." Right?
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh, shit, we could be in trouble." So they hop in the car. They don't have the money. They're taking off. Kreese tells Bishop about Yannick, and then they're trying to figure out who these guys are actually working for. But then Bishop thinks, you know what? We know right where to go. So he makes a U-turn in his Volkswagen hoopty so they can go back to the office building that he met them in earlier in the film, only to find out that the building is being demolished.
Yes. Can I just say, I actually like that hoopty.
I've always loved Carmen Gia's. I just think it's funny that it looks like he's driving the same car he's been driving since he went on the run in the 60s.
Right.
Because he couldn't afford to buy a new car, or he didn't have the identity to buy a new car.
Yes. So you just had to try and keep that one up.
Right. So we get back to Sneakers HQ.
Hey!
And what we find out is that these world-class hacker breaker into people are complete fucking idiots who don't know how to use any kind of information systems to check out anything before they go into something. Because they're literally like, we did some research and it says that the building used to be a government building, but it only had the Department of Agriculture and something else in it, and that the NSA's actual headquarters on the West Coast is in Los Angeles, and that blah, and the blah, 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 right?
The level of failure.
Yes. Yes. You just took it on blind faith that they were NSA agents? Apparently.
So many levels of failure. First of all, how is Robert Redford that dumb? And then how is everybody else like...
Yes!
How did nobody say, we should probably like verify that this isn't like bullshit?
Absolutely. And I mean, I don't know. It's one of those things where you would see on College Humor, like how it should have ended, right?
Yes.
And, Robert Redford goes back and says, well, we're a hacking organization. Let's find out what we can about these guys, right? And they come back and they just never show up again.
The end.
Because they clearly knew how to contact the NSA when they needed to actually talk to the NSA.
Yeah, they found that right away. Apparently they're in the yellow pages.
Right. And the biggest thing that they come up with is that they found out that Janik was working from a grant that was given to him by the NSA to do the code breaking in the first place, which is how we find out that now the NSA knows all of this, right?
Yes.
So when they talk about it later on in the film to the disembodied James Earl Jones, we know how Darth Vader knows what's going on, right?
Exactly.
So Whistler even comes to suggest that maybe the NSA guys might be foreign agents, which kind of gets poo-pooed, but we then see a quick cut of Bishop looking out at the business card of his Russian friend Greg, and he's like, I know where I can get some answers. And he tells everybody, get your shit packed up and get out. It's no longer safe here. So we cut to him we cut to him going to the string quartet thing that he was invited to by Gregor. I have to point out, he's also pulled out a 38 caliber snub-nosed pistol to take with him to this little shindig.
Yes.
So we cut to the concerto where Gregor's seated with a very attractive younger woman.
Holy cow. Yes. Like, I'm like, bought and paid for? Maybe?
Rubles is good for many things, including this, I think. And this guy that's playing Gregor, I know he's not the guy that played Alan's dad in Jumanji, but he looks a lot like the actor that played Alan's dad in Jumanji, and that's all I could see every time it came up. But anyway, Bishop comes up behind him, points the gun in his back, tells him, I think we need to have a chat. Which I feel like, hold on a second. You wouldn't have to go up to him and do that. You guys are friends, but...
Right.
Okay.
Maybe it was just to create a sense of urgency. I don't know.
Probably. But I do like how Greg just hands off this cigarette and ashtray to the attractive woman. Like, I'll be back in a moment. Hold my smokes.
Hold my smokes.
Hold my smokes. So
gonna start using that in regular conversation.
Anytime you have to hand some, I need you to hold this while I'm doing some work. Hold my smokes.
Exactly.
And they'll be like, what movie is that from? It might have been from Sneakers, or maybe not. Anyway. So we cut to the aforementioned swimming pool of dry ice scene.
Right. Good Lord. The amount of so much shadow play in this, like to illustrate that nobody can trust anybody.
Well, and that's the thing. You get into this room and it's being lit by the lights in the pool.
Yeah.
Which has clearly got filters on it because it's a heavy blue light.
Mm-hmm.
It's not coming off that pale white blue. But like I said, it's like, well, they're in San Francisco, so I guess there should be fog on the pools too, right? I don't know. I don't get the ambiance of it, other than that it was warmer in there than it was. It was warmer in the water than it was in the pool room, and so it was generating steam. But you could have literally just raise the temperature of the pool to make steam.
I know. Well, and the other thing about it is that I thought it was an indoor pool. So, like...
It is an indoor pool. So even more fog.
It's all very confusing.
It should be climate controlled across the board. But I mean, it's the Russian embassy. Maybe they like to have it more like home. So they can take a dip from the brisk coolness into the warm water. I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure.
It just looked very stupid, I think. Anyway, so they're out here in the weird dry ice pool. Bishop demands that Greg give him back the black box because he is assuming that Greg is involved with this. I'm guessing because Greg is the only spy he knows.
It kind of seems that way.
I'm not following the logic, but it's his logic. It's Robert Redford
I mean,
logic.
Greg was at the
I can
speech.
Understand that. I can understand him going to him for information, but to make the assumption that they took it seems like kind of a leap, right?
Yeah,
and yes,
a
he
little
was
bit.
there, but
yeah.
But so Greg denies being behind the whole thing, saying, "We'd love to have it. You have codes that are different from ours." Way to state the obvious, dummy. We would love to know what those are, but we don't have it. And
Well, I mean, that's more hidden exposition for the viewer, because we find out later that the only people that would actually want this box would be domestic.
Right. So, but I don't know, the whole assumption. And then it's like you pointed out, he's like, I have something to tell you, but I cannot tell you here because the ears have walls, right? And he goes walking up the stairs and he does a little shadow trick, right? You have to trust me, just like you said earlier in the movie. And apparently, I had the gun on you long enough. I'm just going to go ahead and trust you.
Yeah.
So, cut the two of them out in their Russian limousine in a torrential rainstorm that, oh my God, was so clearly being generated by fire hoses, it made my heart sad.
It was so overdone. It's like, okay, sure.
Guys, I know we use
subtlety.
It for it.
Subtlety.
Yeah. It's because of how they lit it, really. They had that one single floodlight that was coming from the top of the screen. And so you weren't getting the more subtle rain effect. You could literally see the huge streams of water coming down on it.
Right.
Ben, I may have watched too many movies in my life, I think.
Possibly.
But anyway, so we get into the limo where the two of them are talking, and they're going through what looks like mugshot books. That's essentially what they are, right? It's spy surveillance photos of people that the Russian consulate wanted to try and turn in American government positions.
Yes.
Because they're trying to identify the two people that Buddy and Dick to find out who they are, right?
Yes.
And as they're walking through it, they find Buddy's picture in there. And Gregor's like, oh, yes, we tried to recruit him because he was a drinker and divorced and things and blah, 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 blah.
Yeah,
And it's an older picture, but it looks exactly like he looks now, whatever.
Right.
But
right. No time has
passed whatsoever. But we get some exposition that Wallace had left the NSA like 4 years ago. So that's how we know he was an actual NSA agent at some point in time. Probably how he probably got recruited by Cosmo because he had knowledge of this project or something like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know where Timothy Busfield came from. We need somebody to burn buildings down. I'm assuming he's the building burner. They brought him along because he's got a great mustache, I think. I don't know. But Greg is sort of like, okay, well, I can't tell you who he works for now, but you're in a world of shit, man. You disappeared once. You think you can do it again? So right at this moment, we hear some whoop, 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 whoop in the background.
Right.
Because we're getting pulled over, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like, don't you have diplomatic plates? I watched Lethal Weapon 2. You should have diplomatic immunity, right?
Right.
Which I think they kind of play out because he tells him, like, do you want to have asylum in the Russian embassy? Technically, my limousine is Russian embassy, right?
Right.
And no answer to that. He's got... This is what happened. Redford's got his I'm a thinking man face on again.
Uh-huh.
And the acting goes down the toilet from that point on. It says in the script, Bishop has a big decision to make. And he just goes into big eyes, slack jaw. This is me thinking. I'm a thinking man. But meanwhile, we get a little knock on the window. Gregor puts the window down, and it's some very sharply dressed FBI agent this time with an actual badge.
Yes.
Telling Bishop he needs to get out. Now, Bishop had an opportunity here to not go anywhere, but he goes?
I don't understand that one at all, but maybe he doesn't want to be in cahoots with a Russian. I don't know.
I wish there'd been a little snippet of dialogue to explain the decision.
Yeah, it was something, anything.
Because it didn't seem like that was the motivation that he needed to have. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
So anyway, he gets out of the car, gets put on the wall, which I think they shot this in L.A. because it's that famous tile tube.
Yeah.
Tunnel
yeah.
That's in Blade Runner and like every other science fiction LA movie. It was made in the 80s.
Yeah.
And maybe they have one of those. Maybe they have one of those in San Francisco too, but this one's squarely felt like that one.
Yeah.
And the agents push him on the wall. They frisk him. They find the gun. And that stupid Robert Redford. Oh man, I forgot about my gun look. Right? I'm like, oh. Bob, you're not selling it, bro. Just saying. So then we see the first FBI agent pulling on another glove.
Yeah.
Takes the gun, shoots Gregor, and then the limo driver gets out, tries to run away, caps him in the back.
Yeah.
And then lays the gun down on the ground, right?
Which is it is funny, like this is easily the darkest moment in the movie.
Oh, for sure.
And kind of given how goofy a lot of these other scenes are, it feels almost out of place. Like it's so dark.
It really does. And of course, in my head, I'm like, I don't know, man. You got to go for the double tap on that driver before you put that gun down. I'm just saying.
You got to put one more in him if you're gonna.
The back is a big target. You got to make sure that guy's not going to talk. You got to put one in the old Scully, buddy. That's what I'm saying. He probably shot Gregor in the head, right? Because he was right there. But this guy was like 10 feet, 12 feet away from him.
Yeah.
Got to go for the double tap on that one. I mean, that is just standard operating procedure for thuggy bad guys who are doing a good job. I'm just saying.
Or zombies, either way.
Or zombies.
Double tap.
Well, 100% have to do the double tap on zombies. You're not stopping them unless you get that headshot.
That's right.
But in the case of mob-style murders, you basically go 2 in the chest, 1 in the head, man. That's the standard operating. It's just standard operating procedure. I've read the manuals. I know. I've read them. So anyway, meanwhile, Bishop just watching these people getting capped, and he knows that he's about to get fingered for this whole thing. And here comes Bobby. Here's Bobby, and just whacks him across the chin and knocks him out.
And man, that hit to the head.
Oh, there was some intent there.
Yeah, there was some malice. He was sitting there festering over that line that he said about bastards earlier on in the...
Oh, yeah. That's just been stewing in Bobby's head, man. He's just like,
that's right.
Get that motherfucker. I get that motherfucker. My parents were married. The fuck is he talking about? But I do like how for the duration of not the rest of the movie till the very end, but through the next couple of scenes, Redford's got the bruise on his jaw.
Yeah.
In addition to the bruise on his head that we're going to get to later. So, but anyway, lights out for Bishop. Down he goes, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we go to black, and then when we kick back up, we hear the sound of a car. Pay attention to the sound, kids. It's very deliberate for a reason.
Yep.
Bishop lights a match. He sees it's inside the trunk of the car.
Also, can I just say that, like, this is a very movie thing that annoys the crap out of me. When people light matches in dark places and suddenly you can see everything.
Everything.
Like, not just a little bit. You can suddenly see everything. Like, one match delivers so many... God, what is the measurement for
lumens?
Lumens. So many lumens in a single match, Jason. So many lumens.
Lumens are candle power.
That's right.
There you go, my friends. There's your little bit of science for the episode there.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. But it's even funnier when after the match burns out, like, first of all, he has a match.
Right? Where did that come from?
Not a matchbook, not a box of matches. He just has a random match in his pocket in case he gets thrown into a trunk, apparently.
That's right.
Right? But then the lighting from the backlighting from the headlights, which are reflecting into the thing, you get a much more atmospheric look to it, like you would expect to see in a trunk, right?
Right.
So clearly one match is brighter than headlights on a car.
Totally.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Why not? But anyway, so he's just basically riding along, and I got it. This, I'm a little claustrophobic. I've probably mentioned that a few times. And anytime I see somebody in a trunk, I would be losing my shit if that was me in that trunk. I can't think of a movie where I've seen somebody inside a trunk that I'm thinking, this is very stressful for me. I do not want to watch this. I do not like this. I don't think I can handle this. But thankfully, it wasn't a very long.
See, I would feel right at home because when I was in high school, my best friend would drive a lot of people home from school, and I was like the smallest kid of all the friends. So guess where I went?
I don't want to hear this story.
Guess where I went a lot of the time. No. I'm not even kidding.
No.
And now the 10s know. Anyway, moving on.
There is nobody in high school that would have even put me in the back seat of their car. Everybody just knew Jason was riding shotgun if he wasn't driving. Period.
And
they may have thought, well, he's just pretending, so he always gets shotgun. And it was a nice perk, but no, that was not it. But anyway, so they stop, and the trunk opens up, and Bishop's awake, and there's Buddy again. He's like, oh, look, someone's up. And hits him on the head again, knocks him out again. So it's amazing that Bishop was able to even function with what could have been 2 concussions at this point.
I was kind of thinking the same thing. I'm like, and the second one looked exceptionally brutal. I was like,
oh my God.
I was like, okay, he's fine.
It didn't just knock him out. It rebooted his system with that second hit.
Well, this is one of those movies that, like the movie science thing, where being knocked out is just a bruise. There's nothing permanent about being knocked out, even though
no.
in real life being knocked out is not a good thing at all.
In fact, some of us have some more previous or some more current experience with head injuries than others.
It's quite possible. Quite possible.
Oh
Someone,
so
I'm not going to say who, should know.
A person may have more direct experience with that than another person per se.
I'm fine.
So Bishop wakes up again, and you kind of get the immediate impression where he wakes up that you're looking at a low rent Bond villain. Layer.
It literally feels like that asteroid room in Spectre, but like with a budget that was like an eighth of what they spent on the asteroid room in Spectre.
Right. Well, it looks like someone took like an early 80s modern design ethic where they were using like metal to craft chairs and tables, and they were cutting out things out of metal slabs and mounting them on the wall, but with a bunch of neon backlights and gray carpet.
It was so strange. It was like part laser tag room. It was there were like metal benches welded to the floor. There was no like real furniture in the room. There was one desk just sitting off in the corner, but nothing. It was so strange. It was all so strange. I really don't know.
It felt like Tim Burton met Frank Gehry and had a baby that was Patrick Nagel. And that you just got this whole sort of like all of the tacky sort of trendy 80s things got crammed into one poorly lit office.
Yeah. Just a tinge of 90s in there, though, somewhere.
Just a little tinge. Just a little tinge.
It's strange, though.
Yeah, it's an 80s movie.
Yeah.
It didn't come out in the 80s, but it's an 80s movie. You just got to roll with it. But so he gets fully awake. He's like, terrible taste in decorators. But then, hey, look, there's Cosmo, ponytail and all, dressed up like Raymond from Rain Man with the button collar and the sport coat.
Yeah.
Right? And he starts talking. And then immediately you're like, stop talking. Can we do this in sign language? Maybe speak French or something. Anything with a subtitle?
It's just like,
please?
Well, it felt like, even though he was talking directly to Bishop, it felt like he was doing spoken word to Bishop. He's like, pain. Like he enters the room with pain. Do you have pain? Or whatever.
Do you have pain? Marty.
Can I also say that occasionally he almost sounds like he's impersonating Christopher Walken a little bit.
Yes.
like the world's worst impersonation of Christopher Walken.
Walken impression. That actually tracks. Like, what if Christopher Walken was like his spirit animal for this role and he just didn't get it?
Totally.
And now I'm like, why didn't we get Christopher Walken for this role instead of Ben Kingsley? Pain. Do you have pain?
Oh, boy.
Marty. I can't kill my friend at all. You're just too close to me. We could do it, Marty. I don't know. I've been telling you from the beginning, I just wanted it to be Christopher Lloyd. Marty, what the hell are we going to do? Let's go rob the Department of Justice. We can do whatever we need to do, Marty. Marty, great Scott. So anyway, I digress. He's talking to him about the pain. He does a little magic trick about the thing but it's a bottle of aspirin. He's like, take some aspirin, right? It's straight up. Yeah, take some aspirin. Would you like some aspirin, Marty? So he does the little hand thing, and then he just, instead of doing the magic trick, which he cheated on the last time, he just hands him the bottle to give him some aspirin. And they begin to chat. He recognizes, oh my God, it's Cosmo. You're not dead. He doesn't actually ask him how he's not dead, but we do get some exposition later on how that actually worked.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
But they banter a little bit about Bobby. You should check that guy for rabies. And Cosmo goes like, rabies only occurs in warm-blooded animals, Marty. So I just realized I am now working on an impression of Ben Kingsley's bad impression of somebody from New Jersey. That is like that's like some impressionception right there. So Bishop gets up, apparently not concussed because he's walking around fine and not vomiting on everything.
Yeah, he's fine.
He's fine. And they walk around over to the desk, and this is where Cosmo starts kind of saying, this is what happened while I was in the joint. I met a couple of connected people.
Some nice family guys.
Some nice family guys, right? And they helped to get him out of there. What was it, an early parole or something like that?
Yeah.
Which obviously means they faked his death. And then what did he do? Well, he got the mob on spreadsheets, baby.
Because that's the easiest way to endear yourself to the mob is to show them that you know.
Absolutely.
If you know Microsoft Excel, you are in.
Let's face it. If you're an Excel whiz, everybody's going to want you in their organization. It doesn't matter whether it's organized crime, which, by the way, Cosmo says isn't very organized, and anything you want.
That's right.
But what really impressed me was the fact that he convinced the mob to put all their dirty dealings down on paper, or at least electronically on paper.
Right.
But then encrypted it. We encrypted it, right?
Yes.
And okay, so you're trusting the guy that encrypted all of your data, that he may not turn that data. Okay, it sounds like the mob to me.
Yeah.
I don't know. This guy talks a little funny, but I get a real sense of trust out of this guy. I think we need to put everything. Absolutely. We're just going to put everything on this. What did you call it again? Excellent? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and put it on. What is that? Is that like spread? You called it spread cheeks, right? Spread cheeks? Oh, sheets. Oh, all right. Well, whatever. Cosmo's got it covered. We're good. Go for it, Cosmo.
Sounds good.
Go for it.
Let's do it.
Sounds good. It's good. Let's do it. We got to do it. We're going to do it. We're doing it. So anyway, Cosmo's been working for the family, creating money movement through the organization, encrypting it so the government can't get to it, which I feel like before the encryption, they couldn't get to it either because it wasn't on paper, but whatever. Anyway, Cosmo says that's why the black box is needed. The mob wants it to keep the NSA from decoding their files to put everybody in jail.
Right. Sure.
At least that's what you're supposed to believe. That's what you're supposed to believe.
Well, Bishop doesn't believe it.
Oh, he doesn't believe it for a minute. So Bishop doesn't buy it and doesn't think that that's his only angle. And Cosmo's like, yeah, you always were kind of smart, Marty. And so he leads him over to the cone of silence.
The cone of silence. It really is kind of the cone of silence.
It's just a cone of silence.
Also, can I just point out too, the audio inside the cone of silence is so inconsistent. Like, they clearly try and make a distinction in the way that it sounds when they're talking inside this little bubble, but from angle to angle, the audio changes. Like it doesn't sound the same, even though it's supposed to, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I maybe like the lost Central Intelligence Cinema podcast issue. They just had a lot of sound issues and couldn't edit them out.
That's fair. I mean, somewhere. Yeah. I won't even name the name of the movie because eventually we will do it, but yeah.
And eventually we'll probably release the bad one, but that'll be like a swan song thingy. If you guys ever hear one with really shitty audio, that means we're not doing the podcast anymore. So
that's right.
Don't be asking for it, okay?
That's right. Either that or if we ever open a Patreon.
Yeah, there you go. We'll make you guys pay to hear the garbage. Because that's how Hollywood works, right? They make you pay to watch garbage. We're going to make you pay to watch garbage too. Listen to garbage too. So anyway, maybe bad ADR, maybe the sound room caused some problems with issues and they were going for reality. I don't know. But yeah, it wasn't great. But you do get to hear about, Memo Mahdi, when we try to change the world by getting the money into the right people. And, he says about how when he was in prison, he learned that everything in this world, including money, doesn't really operate on reality, but rather the perception of reality.
Ooh.
We're going pretty deep into the philosophy here on this one, man. So they have this little tete-a-tete about creating a distrust in banks and institutions and markets and et cetera to be able to make them fail because of that perceived reality. They basically say, if you tell enough people that a bank is going to fail,
it'll fail.
The word will spread and people will take out the money of the bank and the bank fails, right?
Yeah.
I mean, this is not rocket science.
Yeah.
This is generally how most 15-year-old girls take their revenge out on another 15-year-old girl in high school. It's a tale as old as time, right?
That's right.
So, and Bishop's basically like, and you've actually been doing that. He's like, yeah, I have. And he goes, in a few small countries, and he's like, ooh, maybe. I mean, that's literally the look on his face. I won't tell. Will you? So Bishop just kind of looks at him and says, you're crazy. Right? Which Cosmo doesn't feel like he's being crazy. He's the hero in his own story. So he's just like, telling Bishop, well, I'm sorry you feel that way, old friend Mahdi, but, we've got your fingerprints here and we got a gun and why, I could just type into my little computer here and all of a sudden you're the problem. Ooh, right?
Right.
God, I wish he'd actually been more like that, more like a Bond villain. It would have been great. But he basically assures him that he's going to hack into the records, reconnect his own name to the data that they have, back to Martin Bryce.
Yes.
And he's basically fucked if that happens, right?
Right.
And, after we go back and forth on this, it's basically like, you need to give us the box or you're screwed, Marty. So do what I'm asking you to do. And then we cut to him in the same car, stopping and dropping him off on the street. Yeah. They're clearly on some sort of a hill thing because you can see San Francisco in the background.
Yeah.
And he gets up, dusts himself off, and then walks back to Liz, where he then lies about being dropped out of a moving car because they were clearly stopped when they put him off. They are considerate thugs.
Yes, totally.
Which pretty much kicks us into Act 3 and thankfully the finale of this movie.
Yes, Act 3. So yeah, Bishop winds up at Liz's door and immediately lies to her about being thrown out of a moving car, but obviously not a moving car, just stationary car. Anyway, I digress.
You don't think you could have got enough sympathy with getting hit in the head twice?
Seriously.
Go for the moving car gig? I mean, come on, Marty.
He's double concussed.
Come on, Marty.
Come on, Marty.
Marty.
So he basically explains to Liz that he's blown and that he's going to need help. And, he calls the gang in to help. Oh, and then while he's there, he sort of like tells Liz, I'm sorry because of Greg's death and that sort of thing. There's like a brief moment about that.
It's a really good moment between the two of them.
Yeah.
Because she sort of takes on this whole like, well, you can't really tell me, so I'm going to pretend it's me and I'm going to tell you what happened kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that he doesn't have to say it to her.
Yeah.
And then he gives her a very heartfelt, he says sorry. She's like, oh no, it's fine. But he's like, no, I'm sorry. And I mean, this is Robert Redford being Robert Redford here. He conveys in that particular moment, no, I'm talking about I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah.
Right?
That's what
everything that I did, everything that I've just put you through with 2 words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This guy doesn't show up in the movie very often because he's not given the opportunity to play that kind of level of emotional depth with this character.
Yes, absolutely. And it's kind of funny. It just seems like every time he's in a scene with Mary McDonnell, things get elevated. I don't know. Just call me crazy, but it just kind of seems like there's a pattern here. Anyway.
Yeah, because good actors work better with good actors. I think somebody may have said that at the beginning of the podcast.
Yep. Somebody.
Anyway, I apologize for interrupting you, Ben. Please get back to the narrative.
Okay. So after that moment, we see the gang show up at Liz's, and they're watching the news coverage of Greg's murder, and that a quote-unquote anonymous tip was given from the scene of the crime, and Kreese immediately wants to call the authorities to try and make a deal, but Mother doesn't want any of it. He says maybe one of the funniest things that Mother says in the whole movie, when he says, they're going to give us 20 years in the electric chair. That's not how that works.
But it is a great line.
It is a great line. So anyway, and then Bishop wants to make like an anonymous call that can't be traced to try and cut a deal with the NSA to try and figure all this out. And the look on Mary McDonnell's face as the gang is taking over her apartment with all of their shit, it's just like, oh, God, why did I have to date this guy? I know he's hot, but he comes with a lot of baggage, a lot of baggage.
And I love the little Sarah Connor phone call that she's having with her mother. No, it's not really a good time for you to come over, Mom. No, I got a lot of things going on right now, Mom. Just not a good time.
Not a good time, Mom. Not a good time. So then they make the call and they do the bounce the call all over the place thing. And at the same time, they have this device that somehow reads the stress of the speaker on the other end to figure out if the person is lying or not. They have. I thought it was funny. Also in this scene, we see an Atari phone, which, wow, who knew?
Right.
So then they call the actual NSA, and they can't get anywhere as they're talking to this. Hello, NSA, but they can't get anywhere with this.
Thank you for calling me. Thank you for calling the NSA. Just a moment. Thank you for calling the NSA. Just a moment.
But then they mention C-Tech Astronomy, and suddenly they get connected, and it's Mr. Abbott, who sounds uncannily similar to James Earl Jones.
I wonder why that is.
I can't imagine why. But Bishop asks if he can make a deal, and Abbott says yes and is interested in the black box, but Bishop asks if he can guarantee his safety, and Abbott says yes, but this time Mother's little magic lie detector thing goes off, and he's lying. And so also at this point in the call, they can see that the trace is getting really close, so they hang up, which I always wonder about that. Can you actually follow the trace on the other end? It's an interesting thought.
Well, if there was a group that could, it would be the NSA, right? Because that's what they do. Literally.
Well, no, the NSA could. I just find it interesting that the sneakers group, the sneakers club.
Well, yeah. It's the sneakers club for men, Marty.
But anyway, it's interesting.
I was okay with the idea of Whistler being able to route through like local terminals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When he starts talking about bouncing shit off satellites, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe at Sneakers HQ where you had all the hardware, but I don't feel like Liz is carrying around some sort of digital transmission or analog transmission converters that can get out to space to bounce a signal off.
Right. But
I think maybe we just chalk that up to high definition video cameras.
Yes.
And
yes.
Just say probably, maybe, could be, but we don't know for sure.
Exactly. Okay. So anyway, so they hang up just before the trace gets through, and so now they're at the kind of this low point, trying to figure out how they might get the black box. And Whistler asks what it sounded like when Bishop was in the back of the trunk of the car, because they're trying to figure out where this box is being held. Like, they don't even know where Bishop was taken. So Whistler's like, well, what did it sound like when you were in the car? So they do this process of elimination type thing where Whistler throws different sounds at Bishop, and Bishop's like, well, more like this, and more like this. And it's slower rhythm or whatever. And eventually Whistler magically nails down and authenticates the sound that somehow Bishop has perfectly remembered in his mind after 2 concussions. But it's fine. So they figure it out, and then they start talking about the different bridges and stuff like that, trying to figure out like which one would sound right and sort of process of elimination. And they go, okay. So then they go out and start driving, and they're like, well, what did you hear after this? And he's like, well, it sounded like a cocktail party. And then they pull over to the side of the road, and there's a bunch of geese. And at that point, Whistler is like, remind me to make you an official member of the blind club or whatever.
Right.
So they wind up at this toy factory building, but they realize that it's clearly not a toy factory building because security is way too tight for a toy factory. At this point, they're just sort of like staking out this toy factory, trying to figure out everything. And they're using their high-powered camera, and they're using this high-powered directional microphone, trying to listen in to the building. And this part really bothers me, this microphone thing. I'm like,
yeah.
Look, I know that there are high-powered microphones out there, and I know that Whistler supposedly has Daredevil level superpower hearing, and
but he's not going to hear ultrasonic waves through a directional microphone that's several hundred feet away from what is probably insulated glass.
Yeah, exactly. And he's even hearing somebody say the whole "my voice is my passport" thing. Like,
right.
Because it's at that moment, while they're literally like a football field away from this building, that they figure out, oh, this is a voice-activated security system, and they figured out the exact phrase that is used, so they know what to do from there. But it's sneakers. It's sneakers. It's just sneakers.
I think it's safe, tens of listeners, to just throw logic out the window at this point.
Oh, yeah.
It's end game time.
It's Act 3.
It's going to probably not track very well.
Yeah.
So yeah. If it sounds janky, it probably is.
Yeah, I think going forward in any movie where plausible deniability goes away, I'm just going to start saying it's sneakers. It's sneakers.
There you go.
So
it's a sneaker.
Yes.
We got a real Converse moment here.
That's right. So now they're back at Liz's house, the new sneakers headquarters, and they notice that Cosmo's office has the light on all night. So Bishop tells Mother to figure out who works next door. In the meantime, we also get this funny exchange between Carl and Bishop, where Carl scores the blueprints for the entire building after stealing $50 from Mother. Which is kind of a funny little moment, actually. I kind of like that part.
Yes.
While all this stuff is sort of going on, we see Liz. So then the sneakers gang have brought out even more kit, because now in the kitchen, Kreese and Whistler are putting together tech to help figure out the voice passport situation. And they basically need a recording of someone who works there and their key card. And Mother tracks down the guy who works next door to Cosmo. Enter Ned Ryerson, or for the purposes of this review would be Dr. Werner Brandis. I'm just going to call him Ned Ryerson. That's funner.
Works for me.
Yeah. So then Mother comes in with all of the trash from Ned Ryer's house, and they start going through his trash in the middle of poor Liz's kitchen. So they're looking through all his stuff, and they find out that he's a computer dater in 1992, or early. He's an early adopter. So
sure.
So that's when they're like, well, we need to find someone to go out on a date with him and wire them up with a recorder to try and get him to say the passcode.
Right.
And they're like, we need somebody smarter. This person is very organized.
Well, Liz is the one that points that out. She's like,
that's right. That's right. She's the one that points it out.
Look at how his toothpaste tube is folded to get everything out of it.
Yeah.
This person is very thoughtful and meticulous, basically anal. So you need somebody like that, more or less. And they're all like,
and they all look at her.
Heads all shift and swivel over.
Guess what you get to do? So they set Liz up on this date with him and wire her up with a recorder. And oh my God, Tobolowsky plays such an awful human being and is so good at playing an awful human being in this scene when they're on this date.
Uh-huh.
And he cares so little about anyone other than himself. Certainly not Liz on this date. He like immediately goes for the food when they're in this restaurant.
Right.
Like, she tries to make it known that she's not in any hurry, and he's like, well, I'm going to go, and like just leaves her. They haven't even sat down yet.
Right.
So while Liz is on this date, they sort of give more exposition because they cut back to Liz's house and the guys are trying to figure out how to get past the sensors that are in Cosmo's office. And they realize that it's like both motion and thermal. And magically they have been able to find the exact model of motion/thermal detectors so they can pick it apart, right. So they can dissect it and figure out exactly what they need to do. Find out that they have to raise the room temp to 98.6 degrees so that you can then move at 2 inches per second, which
right.
I'm going to tell you right now, Robert Redford did not do in the scene when he's supposed to be.
No, when I saw it, 2 inches per second is like moving like Tim Conway did when he did The Old Man on Carol Burnett, just shuffling his feet a little bit.
Yeah.
That's 2 inches per second.
So then we're back at the date, and Liz finally gets the last word that she's been trying to get on her list. She manages to get him to say
passport.
Passport, that's what it is. That's the last one. So at this point, the restaurant is practically closed, and Dr. Brandis is feeling very bold and confident about how the date's going at this point. So he's like, do you want to come over for breakfast or whatever, or something like that? Some bad line about that. And Liz is like, check, please.
Right.
No.
Right.
So now we cut to Whistler, who is cutting together the recording that Liz got of the sentence for the voice passport card. And in the meantime, we see the next day, Carl is dressed as the gardener going to the toy factory building to use the restroom, which is basically he's using that to get into the air ducts or the, I don't know if it's air ducts or.
No, they're going. So he went in through an air vent, but at least they took the effort to get him on top of the air ducts.
Yes. So at
where
least
there's actually space to move around.
Right. So at least it's not in an unrealistically large air duct, as in most movies.
Right.
So so then they have Mother outside to double as the gardener so that the security guys who are already like going, that guy's been in the bathroom a long time. And then they suddenly see...
What if he fell in?
Yeah. So then they suddenly see Mother outside in the exact same outfit doing gardening things. And then they're like, oh, I guess it's fine. So at that point, Mother takes off. And then Carl makes his way down to the boiler room, is what that looked like to me, to sort of connect up the little device that raises the temperature in Cosmo's office. Meanwhile, Liz is on date number 2 with Ned Ryerson, this time stealing the password card thing. And then she sort of drops it out the window. She's like, isn't it hot in here? It's like, well, I guess it's kind of hot. You can open the window if you want, or whatever. So she opens the window, and Mother's waiting outside the window, and she drops down the password card thing to him. In the meanwhile, he's cooking up something that apparently is awful, that he overcooks later. We find out later he overcooks it, which he apologizes for to the nth degree. It's the only time he shows any sense of empathy on any of the dates. So anyway, so now we cut to, because this part of the movie moves really fast. Like they just...
Yeah, it does.
Like they try and like speed up the prep for the break-in and mix it with the actual break-in. So now Bishop is already going into the toy factory using Brandis's card. And then in the van, Mother is telling Kreese about, that's when we get that line, cattle mutilations are up. Like just out of nowhere. I'm just like, did they need to just fill the space? Did they just find that line particularly funny to like put that in there? Like,
it feels to me like there was some improv going on in the van scenes.
Yeah.
And that's the one that just tickled the director the most.
I think it was one of those things where they were like, well, we're going to need to be able to cut back to the van so we can propel how far along Redford is inside this building.
Right.
So to do that, we'll just like cut back to the van. So we'll just have Dan Aykroyd riff about a million different things. So he's
exactly.
So he's like, cattle mutilations are up. So then we see Bishop, and he's in the stairwell, and he's got the little gadget that magically in 1992 allows the guys in the van to see all of the CCTVs. And and then we see him at the area where he has to do the voice recognition software. And this is great because I love the where digital meets analog moment when he's got the tape recorder to play the passcode, but he accidentally plays it at triple speed. And the computer is smart enough to say, "Please speak slower." Sure, in 1992. But it's fine. Meanwhile, we see Liz goes to make a phone call while she's on the date, but at this point, she's up in a different room, and Brandis accidentally knocks her purse on the floor and sees her ID and realizes she's not the person she's claiming to be. So he's like, "What the hell's going on?" So he puts two and two together. In the meantime, we then see Bishop make his way through, I guess it's the area above the air vents, like you were saying. He's making his way through towards Cosmo's office. And then the one thing I will say is it's awfully convenient that he finds a perfect 3 foot by 3 foot area directly below him where none of the motion sensors can see anything. So it's
that's just bad security planning is what that is.
It really is. You know what it is? It's sneakers. So
it's a sneaker. It's a sneaker.
It's
they
a sneaker.
Snuck that one right in.
That's right. So then we see Brandis is now driving Liz to the toy factory building and basically accusing Liz of trying to infiltrate the building, which is valid, but also a weird approach.
Why did she go with him, I guess is my question.
Yeah.
Is she really threatened by Steven Tobolowsky?
Well, it's weird that he doesn't let her in on it on the drive over there. He doesn't
Oh, that's right.
He springs it on her once they're in the building, basically, which is another weird thing. I find it interesting that he springs it on her like that. I don't know. So then we see Bishop moving, definitely not 2 inches per second, moving through the room, and he eventually gets to the desk and he gets the answering machine, and he gets back up into the air vent and quickly starts moving his way to. Then he gets back into Brandis's office and collects all his stuff and goes back up into the area above the air vents again, just in time for Liz and Brandis to walk in. And I think at this point, isn't Cosmo in tow with this whole thing? Yeah, because at this point, they all walk into Brandis's office, and of course, nothing is out of place. And Bishop was smart enough to leave the key card sitting there on his desk, so it makes him look really dumb.
Right.
So at that point, they all leave the office, and Liz says one word too many as they're leaving, and she's like, "That's the last time I go out on a computer date." And Cosmo is smart enough to go, "It paired you with him." No.
Right.
No. Something else is going on.
So then he does this little funky run.
Oh my God, that weird funky run. It's just blink, 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 blink. Back to. So anyway.
I'm going to my office.
So he walks in. He's like, "Why is it so hot in here?" And then he walks in, opens the little case that had the answering machine in it, and of course the black box is gone. He's like, "Marty!" And we get a Dutch angle and everything. Perhaps the most Brian De Palma-y moment of the whole thing when we go Dutch angle.
Indeed.
So then at this point, Mother and Kreese are both working inside the van to try and lead Marty by way of his little earpiece out of the building as the alarms are going off and guards and people are going everywhere trying to find Marty. But then they cut off the CCTV, so now he's blind. Now they're blind. And we see Wallace, good old Bobby, he's still there. He's still got an axe to grind with Bishop. So he's shooting up at the ceiling. And just as he's getting really, really close to killing Bishop, that's when Cosmo gets on the PA system and tells everybody to stop shooting. Because Cosmo does seem to have quite the soft heart for Marty to a degree, like maybe just a little bit. So he tells everybody just to hold their fire, and so he starts telling Marty that he's got Liz and that he's their only way out of the building alive. So at this point, Marty comes down through the crawl space, and there's Bobby waiting for him. Bobby's just waiting for him. So he comes down, and Wallace hauls him into Cosmo's office. This is when we do get some very Bond things in this movie, because we get the classic villain doing all the major villain mistakes in a Bond movie. The villain doesn't stick around to see Bond get killed.
Right.
We don't even see the villain stick around for the hero to hand over the thing that he's wanted this whole time.
Right.
Which that one really puzzles me. Like, why didn't he just say, "Give me the box, Marty"?
Marty.
Like, why? Marty, give me the box, hand over the lector. So he leaves, and then, or that's what he says. He's like, well, I can't kill you, but he can. And at this point, Wallace is salivating, just ready to kill him.
Sure.
And that's when Bishop tries to sort of talk down Wallace for a second. And Wallace is like, what are you even talking about? And Bishop says something like, "Now, Carl," or something like that. And Carl crashes through the crawl space area and, chaos. And, one of the guns flies over to Liz, who then takes control of the situation briefly.
And shakily.
The most shakily I've ever seen anyone hold a gun, but very convincingly. So that's taken care of. And now they're just trying to get out of there. Bishop, Liz, and Carl, they make their way to the roof of the toy factory, and they call Kreese and Mother, who are at the van that are sitting up on this hill. And just when they're about ready to leave to go pick them up, that's when some of Cosmo's goons hold them up. And then we get a really problematic thing, although I suppose they're the bad guys, but still.
Yeah, for a 92 movie.
For a 92 movie, it's very cringy.
Icky.
So then at this point, the goons sort of yank those two guys out of the van, but they don't realize that Whistler is hiding in the back of the van. So he starts crawling up to the front of the van, and Whistler gets on the phone with Bishop. Bishop's like, well, you got to drive the van. And he's like, I got to what? So, and I do like this moment of Whistler driving the van backwards initially down this hill and being told where exactly to go by Bishop, but there's like a delay almost between what Bishop is telling him and what Whistler actually does. And so so hilarity ensues. So
the sort of funny thing you'd expect a blind man trying to drive a van backwards happens.
Exactly. And it's very 80s. It's almost Goonies-esque. It's
it's a little more slapsticky than it needs to be, but it is what it is.
Yeah. And then especially at the end of it, where he's like 5 more seconds and then stop. And then he just runs into the wall when he gets to the building. So then Liz and Carl, they get down the ladder or whatever, and they congratulate Whistler for the great driving job. But now Cosmo's on the roof, and he wants the box from Bishop. And at this point, Bishop's like, you can have it. He's like, I don't even want it. And Cosmo gives off this big speech about ones and zeros and more Cosmo talk that, neither one of us really cared about.
Blah, blah, blah. Yap. Philosophy, Bond villain, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, exactly. And what it really comes down to is that Cosmo's just lonely and wants his friend back. But Marty's like, I'm not going to go try and destroy the world with the little box with you. Like, I'm not doing that. So sorry, man. I'm out of here.
Sorry, Cosmo.
Sorry,
Cosmo.
Cosmo,
Marty.
So
Spacely Sprockets.
That's right. And even then, he even points the gun at him as Bishop's trying to go down the ladder, and Bishop's just like, you're going to have to shoot me if you're going to stop me, but I don't think that's in you to do that. And so he doesn't. So then he goes down the thing and they drive away. And then as they're driving away, we basically find out that there wasn't anything in the answering machine box when he gave it to Cosmo, and that they have the little black box. And I think we get another Cosmo yell, another Cosmo scream or something? I don't know. Doesn't matter because they got the black box now.
Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because we're nearly done. And I never have to talk about this movie again.
That's right. So the gang gets back to Sneakers HQ. And at this point, Carl even calls the job a sneak. Hence the name of the movie. But once they turn on all the lights, they realize, hey, look who's here, the NSA, the actual NSA. And, hey, look at that. That's James Earl Jones.
Go figure.
Yeah. So we find out that Bernard Abbott of the NSA looks just like James Earl Jones and wants the box. But Bishop points out that it's not really the NSA's jurisdiction and that the black box wouldn't even work on Russian encryption. So you're only using it to spy on other Americans or the FBI or the CIA, et cetera, et cetera. And so they start sort of bargaining for silence on the matter. And that's when everybody starts listing off all the things that they said that they were going to buy with the other job's money.
Right.
Mother wants a Winnebago.
A Winnebago.
Crease wants to go to Europe with his wife and Tahiti.
And Tahiti.
Make note. And then the best part, though, is the fact that Carl just wants a date with the NSA agent that's got a gun pointed in his face. And she's actually quite turned on by that. And so she gives him...
You can have anything you want and you just want my phone number? He's like, yeah. Okay.
And then Whistler just wants world peace, and James Earl Jones is like, "We'll work on it."
I'll do what I can.
And then final, which is this random TV screen in that we don't even know where this random TV screen is, that cuts to the news, and the Republican National Committee is now bankrupt because large contributions have found their way to Amnesty International, Greenpeace, and the United Negro College Fund. So, yeah.
That was an apology for the comment earlier in the movie.
100%. And that is the end of Sneakers, which, thank God.
I'll just say that as far as this particular Sneakers are, that both of the soles are blowing out, the laces are torn, and it's time to chuck them in the trash and buy a new pair.
I suppose so. But I will say, it was fun to see regardless, just, in lieu of losing Mr. Redford, it was fun to see Mr. Redford at both his peak and his low, dare I might say.
Yep, he was at the height of his powers, but not using them for good in this movie.
Not very often. Maybe just little bits and pieces here and there. Just brief, like 5-second moments, Jason, and then they're gone. And then he phoned it in.
It's all right. What this movie should have just been was 80% him and Mary McDonnell, and the rest of it should have just been sidebar stuff, and it would have been a significantly better movie.
Quite possibly. But what did you, tens of listeners, think about Sneakers? What are your thoughts on the movie? Have you put it on the True Lies list, as Jason calls it, or are you willing to watch it if it showed up on a streaming service on a Sunday afternoon and you were hungover? We're always looking for a listener interaction, so let us know what you think of this movie, and or how you like the podcast, or if you have ideas. We're always looking for listener interaction. So please, we're available by email at cicdeaddrop@gmail.com. On Instagram, we're Central Intelligence Cinema, separated by underscores. Or on Twitter, it's at CIC SpyPod. And we have a whole slew of other socials that we're on, and you can find the links to all of them at the bottom of the show description of every episode that we put out. So please get in touch and let us know what you thought of this early 90s straight to high-end straight-to-DVD movie that we just watched.
If only it were true.
If only it were true. Any other last thoughts about this movie?
Nope, I think we should just sneak on out of here.
That sounds great. Well, with that, I'm Ben.
And I'm Jason.
And the CIC will return with more missions, more martinis,
and more mayhem.